You start, live. So you start, right?
Yeah. I'll start. So just let me make sure it's. Yeah. There we go.
Sounds like it.
Testing. Testing.
Oh, it's actually coming from my laptop as well. Interesting.
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah, I suggest not to listen to that because it's gonna fuck you up. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a significant delay there, but it's all good.
It's fine.
Cool. So.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dawn Discussion. Breaking news. President Putin of Russia rigs American election to become president of the United States himself. And other news with Ron. What else is happening in the world?
Today in the news, giraffes, lovable household companions, or terror in the streets? Let's find out.
Yes, on Dawn Discussion.
Actually, none of that, because none of them have actually anything to do with comics. Oh yeah, honorary clap, because...
We do it every time and it makes sense of the episode, but now it has. Anyway.
Cool. Well, welcome anyway on our first live session, which means we don't have the intro playing, which is kind of odd. But we'll make it work.
Yeah.
So as you know, this is the first episode of season 3. For those who don't know, my name's Ron. This is Guy. Yeah, that's pretty much that.
That's pretty much it. So, trying to think, what shall we jump into first?
So I think first, let's get one thing out of the way because it happened quite a while ago, and it is kind of important that we talk about this, even though it's been talked about a lot. Because it's really the only sad topics that we have. So let's take a moment to talk about Stan Lee. As you know, he died on the 12th of November, which is about 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, it is very unfortunate that happened, especially because I know that he was quite old at this point. He was 95. But even then, it always did feel like he still had more to give to the world. And actually, one of the things that happened as well is that I bought his autobiography not 2 days before he died, because he was, I speak for both of us, probably if I say he was my hero growing up. He shaped the way that I kind of looked at not just the world and storytelling, but morals and you know the way we think about storytelling. More than anything, he actually was the one that made me want to become a writer, with the countless of stories and characters that he wrote.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we can't really do this show and start off with this without mentioning that this happened, because as far as the show goes, obviously he was a huge inspiration as well.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
No, obviously he'll be greatly missed, and with all the characters he's written, I think what was really remarkable is the fact that if you really are an ordinary person, he didn't make you feel as small, because all his characters, I think, that he did write did start off as ordinary people who just somehow obtained powers or just decided that they were going to be heroes or became heroes. And I think that's what's really remarkable, is that sense of, anyone can be anything. So he'll be missed, and hopefully his characters and all of Marvel will be in safe hands, which I think it will be.
For sure, yeah.
And, so far it has been. And also, apparently he had, just before he died, over the last few years, been working on several other kinds of characters and superheroes. So who knows, hopefully one day they'll be seen on either on comics or on screen, and we'll be introduced to more of who he was.
Yeah, and on that subject as well, this week, actually, Steven Hillenburg, creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, passed away as well. Was also a large part of our childhoods.
Yeah, our childhoods, yeah.
Because also SpongeBob has, weirdly enough, also this weird way of teaching us pretty good lessons about how to be a good person.
Yeah. And let's be honest, it's one of those really weird kid shows where even if you catch an episode now as an adult, you're like, yep, still
Exactly,
brilliant,
yeah.
still brilliant.
It's
And of course we have to love all the memes that came from SpongeBob.
yeah, for sure. I think that's probably the best thing that came out of it anyway.
I'm bringing you the patty. Here I come with the Krabby Patty.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I think the best way to kind of round off this topic is by saying that, despite their passing, obviously going forward, it's probably better to, instead of mourn their loss, to celebrate their creations over the time that they were here, the creations that they made and put on this earth for us to enjoy and to be inspired by and to carry on with us. So in the words of two characters or whatever that they created, first one Excelsior, and the second one,
are you ready, kids?
Aye aye, Captain.
I can hear you.
Aye aye, Captain.
Oh no, we're not going to do the whole theme song, unfortunately, but mainly because I can't remember all the words to it. And I'm sure
they talk about nothing that matters to girls. Dawn of discussion.
So true.
So yeah, that brings us to less sad topics, but at least now we can start talking with the war.
Upbeat.
So the first thing that is worth mentioning is that we have been out for like 2 months, 3 months, something like that. Now. So obviously, like while we were away, so many things have happened.
Yeah.
It like so many films we've made. Just to mention a couple of them. Wreck-It Ralph is coming out today. Venom came out sometime in the past, which wasn't even that bad of a movie.
It was. It had its problems. There's no denying it, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. Certainly didn't leave me going, It left me going, oh yeah.
It kept me entertained throughout.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's the thing, and that's what I was hoping for in the end, and that's what it gave me. So well done on the Venom.
Exactly.
They're already planning a sequel.
Of course they are.
Well, I mean,
the sequel's going to have fucking Carnage in there as well.
Yeah, there's Woody Harrelson playing Carnage, which will be interesting. Also, I've got to say, actually, Tom Hardy voicing Venom was
excellent,
remarkable,
honestly,
really
excellent,
really, really good. And I have to say, the bands between the two characters was actually really entertaining. I
mean, it would be a pretty bad chemistry. You don't have good chemistry with yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And then another film that came out is Bohemian Rhapsody, not a comic book related film, but still a very good film.
Brilliant film. I recommend it to pretty much anyone, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The only problem I have with it is I actually realized watching it that before I watched the trailer for Rocket Man, which is the Elton John film.
Yeah.
And I then had the startling realization that, oh my god, that's the next trend, isn't it?
I guess it is, because we are getting a lot of like music group / artist related films. Even A Star Is Born, which isn't autobiographical in any way, and it's not a real story, but it is one of those stories as well. And when you compare that to Bohemian Rhapsody and even Straight Outta Compton from 2015, those stories are fairly similar about someone who gets discovered as a star and then rises to fame really quickly and doesn't know how to deal with that fame.
Yeah, because on a sort of
and then someone dies at the end.
Yeah, on a quick note, to anyone wondering, it's like, oh, but Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't the first. No, I'm not saying it was. I'm saying you realize the trend is definitely going to happen now. First and foremost, because Bohemian Rhapsody is a huge success. It's doing extremely well.
Oh yeah.
And secondly, the fact that with Straight Outta Compton, that was it at that time. With Bohemian Rhapsody, you literally got a trailer for the next biopic about an artist. So. And that artist isn't even dead yet, so, well, let's hope he's not going to die by the time it comes out at the very least. Which I don't think he will, to be fair.
No, he seems fine.
We also were talking about, or at least I have with some people saying, the next series biopic musician films, one of which will be almost definitely Michael Jackson.
Most likely,
John Lennon will be another one.
David Bowie.
Prince will almost...
Oh, definitely.
Those four might, either one of those four.
And even I'm pretty sure John Lennon as well. Like it would be odd if they don't.
Yeah,
I don't condone it, but I'll watch it if they do.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do with it. But yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm not fearful in the sense that I don't think it's a good idea. I'm more fearful in the sense that I just hope that we're not plagued by one every few months, because I just don't. And especially if, no offense, if the artist isn't dead, because I don't think them just. I know it's a harsh thing to say. It's not nearly as interesting. Yeah, but it doesn't resonate as badly with you realizing, because that's the thing. When I was watching Bohemian Rhapsody, I didn't know how bad his life had gotten, and I knew he died, but I never really knew how he died. It wasn't like John Lennon where he was assassinated. It wasn't like that.
No, exactly.
Or Michael Jackson, where it was surrounded by all this courtroom drama, essentially at the very end.
Yeah, it's kind of odd like that. But yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to see more of these kind of films.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll watch them.
Yeah,
because we may as well.
Yeah, it's kind of part of our job, I guess, to watch this kind of film.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, thinking about films that are coming out, we have to mention it quickly.
Sure.
Aquaman.
Oh yeah.
And how well critics-wise it's doing, which, to be honest, I think you and I are both surprised by, because.
No. Well, yeah.
Because I know,
kinda.
Considering how badly shot on DC films, just in general, maybe excluding one would have been up to this point. It's fascinating that somehow this one that it has gotten past, and the critics are okay with it.
Yeah, but there's one thing.
I'm not saying it's bad.
There's one thing that needs to be discussed here. The article that we got this from said that it was rated. What was it? 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is higher than The Dark Knight. However, it is worth to kind of disclose that with the fact that, first of all, Rotten Tomatoes isn't a rating-based system. It's either you like it or you don't. And all it says is that 97% of the critics that actually saw the film like it. That's all it is.
Because on IMDb it got 8.5, which is not bad.
Which is not bad, but again, it just came out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the thing is, with Aquaman, I'm not cautiously optimistic. Skeptical would be the word.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. Because I think you and I and Tammy, who did the pilot with us, have all kind of agreed that we're going into the film with the idea of it's a popcorn movie. You're going in to be entertained. You're not going in for good. But I would not be against me walking and going, damn, DC's finally on the fucking right track.
Yeah, I don't expect that.
I don't expect it. But I would be very pleasantly surprised and I would not complain.
No, for sure. For sure.
Because I will say, actually, Mera in the film looks pretty spot on to character.
Oh, no, for sure.
I think the only character, actually, that kind of looks weird now places Aquaman himself.
Very much.
No offense, Jason Momoa. If you somehow watch this, you are a brilliant man.
He's not watching right now.
You're not watching now.
Because we have only got, as far as I'm aware, one other viewer.
Yeah. Two viewers, one of them of which is us, because we need to watch for the chat here.
Yeah. We are monitoring the chat, by the way, so if you want to say anything, feel free to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aquaman, that's. I'm pretty sure we're in for a wild ride. That's what I'm certain of.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a good wild ride, I think it's going to be a similar thing to like Justice League, where it's going to be not very good, but at least you're relieved that it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think also you'll be relieved in the tone.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing. It does not look like it's a seriously dark film. It seems like it has moments in it where it goes, wow, okay, yeah.
It actually seems like the opposite of that.
Yeah, it seems like a comedy, which for Aquaman is a weird one to go with. But to be fair as well, considering how shrouded in as much of a joke as he is, I guess that's the problem. Goddamn. People who don't read comics just assume you can only talk to fish.
Well,
have you seen the fish he can talk to?
Well, actually, he communicates telepathically with the fish to order them what to do. They don't even have a choice in the matter. He just makes them do it.
Yeah.
Also, he's the king of Atlantis.
Which is,
are you the king of Atlantis?
The most powerful nation on Earth, considering its rule is the entire ocean. And the resources it has access to, plus the technology. Secondly, his skin is as hard as a rock, so nothing can actually really penetrate it.
Pretty much. And
he's as strong as Wonder Woman. So, yeah. And it's good to see him back in his natural environment, unlike in Justice League, where he spent more time flying.
Actually, it still doesn't make any sense. It's still beyond any reason.
Yeah.
Man. God.
But anyway, we'll see how Aquaman.
I've got high hopes. Another little thing that's getting released soon in cinemas is Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're thinking. This film has been released on DVD already, so what's it doing? No. You're thinking about the R-rated cut. I'm talking about the Christmassy PG cut. So if you haven't heard, there's a PG version of the Deadpool sequel coming out for, I think, one day only, the 11th of December in the UK. In cinemas.
Yeah.
And what it is basically there's deleted scenes that are added in, or new scenes to add to the Christmassy spirit, but everything else is made PG. So you can actually take your kids to watch a Deadpool film in cinema, if you have any.
Yeah.
Recommend.
Yeah, highly recommend. It's a definitely kid-friendly film. It actually is, because it's the PG version.
There you go. I know I definitely want to go see it because I know that Deadpool has no place in a PG realm of films. But because of the production so far with the other films, you just know this is going to work. Yeah. Because they know what they want to do with it.
And that's the thing, he can still be funny without having to swear all the time or without the gore.
Yeah.
In fact, how are they going to do the scene where Spike goes through? This is going to be interesting.
To be honest, I wonder how they're going to do the scene where he's like severed from the waist down.
Little legs.
Oh, the baby legs.
Oh my god.
He's got a baby dick. Man. Oh.
This is going to be...
It's going to be crazy.
Weird and strange, to say the least.
But more than anything, it's going to be amazing. Oh man, what else did we miss? Speaking of Deadpool, guess what Ryan Reynolds has been up to as well? You heard it at first and you thought, it's a joke. It must be. Then you heard that Ryan Reynolds is attached and you thought, no, it's even more of a joke. Then we saw the trailer for Detective Pikachu and we realized this is no longer a joke.
It's actually happening.
It's real. And the funniest thing is he doesn't have a different voice being Pikachu than he has being Deadpool. It's the same voice.
It actually feels like a weird Deadpool film where he just somehow...
And the sense of humor he has is the same as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's honestly just... Yeah, I don't know what to make of Detective Pikachu.
I feel like it shouldn't exist. But I will go and watch it.
Because I will be honest, I don't take my friend's opinion very high into movies, simply because I just don't think his opinion is always that good, considering he said he saw the trailer for Detective Pikachu compared to several other films. He said, unlike a lot of films currently released, it actually looks good. I was thinking, Detective Pikachu looks good?
Not particularly.
No, it looks terrible, to be quite honest. I'm sure. I'm not saying it's going to be.
It looks like a fan film.
It does. It looks like a film pitched
that got a budget that's way too big.
Yeah. Like, it just... I honestly don't hold your hopes up. If you think it's going to be good, I almost guarantee it probably won't be. Don't get me wrong. If it is, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But
ask yourself always the question: why does it exist? And the answer will always be money.
Yeah, exactly.
Then again, when was the last time we actually got a Pokemon film?
Live action or animated?
Well, live action would be the first one.
Yes, the first ever live action Pokemon film.
So when did we get the last animated one?
A couple of years ago. They release them on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, but it would have been a couple of years ago. Yeah, and we all know that the first ones are the better ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The most recent ones. They're, for some reason, actually I kind of want to talk about this, thinking about it, is that it's something that bothers me how child television has become so much more childish.
It has.
Teen Titans Go being the perfect example of that. Where, to be honest, because that's the thing, the problem is with that, they're going, but it's more kid-friendly. It doesn't teach them any valuable lessons.
No, it's not.
Because I've seen some episodes of Teen Titans Go, to be honest, the lessons it teaches you, they're not good lessons. It's not something your kid should be learning, to be quite honest.
Particularly.
Teen Titans Go is not a good series, really not, in terms of being for kids, because that's the thing, the original Teen Titans, it did teach people valuable lessons.
Yeah.
And that's what kids shows should do. Teach kids lessons.
You know what my favorite episode still is?
What?
Or Starfire has these self-doubt issues about being different, and then she has to talk about it with Cyborg, and then she goes, "So you know what it's like to be different?" And he goes, "Of course I do. Park robot. It's like when it's set up like that, you're like, it feels like he was gonna say something else there.
Yeah.
There you go. Teen Titans does avoid the topic of racism.
Because also, in one of the episodes of Teen Titans Go, where Cyborg and Beast Boy are having some sort of weird argument, and they're supposed to learn a very valuable lesson about how change, in the future, and blah, blah, is okay and good, and they should accept it, and maturing is not a bad thing. And then they go back in time, change all that, and then what ends up happening? So by this point, Raven's a god who's the sun. Starfire is Queen of Tamaran. Nightwing is, Robin is Nightwing and married to Batgirl with a kid. They go back, they change all that, and the world is destroyed, and they're happy with it. It's like, I get that the lesson is maybe meant to be in the background, but the fact that the characters don't learn from it is what bothers me. Even if they don't retain the lessons in future episodes, it's fine, but they should learn at the very end of that episode, at the very least.
It's like, I remember as well, there's like a couple of episodes like that where there's one where basically Robin becomes addicted to avocados.
Okay.
Because basically, like they say, like avocados are superfood. So like he eats it once and he goes like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then he actually gets superpowers, like avocado-based superpowers. So he becomes addicted to them and he keeps eating them. But then he consumes too much of them and becomes like an avocado-like monster. And at the end, basically, he kicks his habit off. But you see him with a little avocado plant, and you're like, what? No, that's not how. No, I mean, if you're trying to say too much of a good thing is still a bad thing, yes, but that's not what you're saying here.
Yeah, because also, I'm sure the makers would say, but we are teaching the kids lessons because in the end, they'll be going, oh, I shouldn't be doing that because there are consequences. Yes, the problem is, though, kids are dumb. So if at the very end, the two characters of which the episode is centered around, like Cyborg and Beast Boy, don't learn their lessons again, they don't learn anything. Like, kids, no offense, kids are dumb. Unless your kid's a super genius, and then therefore, why aren't they in university already? But still, like,
it's basically what they're saying is death is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Embrace it with open arms.
Yeah, like, it's just.
Nah, I don't know.
Fair. I'm happy that DC has learned, at least through its television, the animated stuff. Like, okay, Young Justice is coming back. It's going to be on the DC streaming service. I have no idea how I'm going to get to see it if it's only available in the United States of America.
Basically, it's probably going to be the same thing with Titans, where you have to wait until all the episodes are out, and then it comes out to UK Netflix.
Why not give it to UK DC streaming? Like,
it's easier that way anyway, because then you have everything on one platform. But no, Netflix is just buying into your streaming service. Disney's going to be the same fucking way as well.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we're going to be talking about eventually, which is that Disney is going to launch its own streaming service with a couple of their own new TV shows.
Yeah.
Which include The Mandalorian, created by Jon Favreau and directed by... It looks pretty exciting because actually a lot of Marvel directors are attached to this.
I think I'm more excited the simple fact that it's going to be a live-action Star Wars TV show. That's what's really getting me.
That also.
And obviously, this has been, it's not been used for a while, but obviously the Clone Wars is coming back. The animated Clone Wars, which is going to be great.
True. And they're going to do a Rogue One prequel series.
Which
I don't. And they're going to do some Marvel stuff as well. One show kind of confirmed, but not really, because no one's really said anything about this. It definitely is a Winter Soldier and Falcon team-up show.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I think is pretty cool.
I think that would be cool, yeah.
But then they also wanted to do a TV show for Loki and Scarlet Witch, which I think is kind of useless.
I think Scarlet Witch I'll be fine with, considering she actually is an Avenger.
I don't think she can carry a whole TV show.
Not on her own.
Nor do I think this about Loki.
Loki is definitely not someone who should get his own show or movie, to be honest. He's not a hero.
What they could do instead is they should do Tales from Asgard.
Yeah.
And then have Child Thor and Child Loki going through, like, adventures like that.
And then can even, orientate the roster so it could be Loki focused and he could be accompanied by Lady Sif
exactly.
or Warriors 3, and you could do stuff like that.
And then we can actually kind of understand Loki's jealousy of Thor being quote unquote the favorite.
Let's be honest as well, because you can kind of tell at certain points Loki has a thing for Lady Sif.
Yeah, true.
It's quite blunt at points, but she obviously has a thing for Thor, and that could obviously play a big part in some episodes for the jealousy factor.
No, for sure.
Also, I want Lady Sif back in the Marvel Universe. Where she? Well, she's probably Ash now, but anyway.
I mean,
she's probably dead.
It wasn't confirmed.
She's dead. She's not confirmed because the person who's meant to confirm it is also turned to Ash.
We may never know.
Yeah, we may never know.
Because the directors of the Avengers actually hinted that some of the characters did, in fact, make it out alive. Of some of them, they said they did.
Well, anyone who's got a movie deal is fine.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man and Black Panther are coming back for sure. Oh, and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, pretty
much. The Guardians of the Galaxy may not this time, though.
It's true. I mean, they will do, probably, because I think
they've already filmed it.
Yeah,
they've already filmed it, and that was before the whole James Gunn.
But they still have the option to fuck off into space and never become relevant again.
Yeah.
And that would be beautiful.
Yeah, which would be very then, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Which is why
sure.
it would be fine. Which, to be fair, also, I think is a quick note, would be interested. If they obviously continue with the next lineup, if they, obviously, no one I think is sure whether Thor is continuing. I don't think he is. But they could do Lady Sif. I think they could do, if they want to, I think I would like to see Lady Sif be an Avenger.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool, because she's never really gotten into the limelight beyond Thor. And I think she's good enough as a character to really do it. And I think that's the thing. It's good to have at least one Asgardian on the Avengers.
Yeah, for sure.
Still remain relevant. Whether it's her, fuck it, even Loki could be funny. I think Loki could have real comedic elements to it.
I guess, but at the same time, I feel like this death should be the permanent one.
Yeah.
Because at some point we just don't feel bad for him anymore.
I think that's the thing. This death should be the permanent one, and it makes the most sense because he didn't turn to the dust, so he can't be brought back in the same way that
exactly.
Bring back everyone else. So it feels like it should be.
Also, in the Dark World, it was kind of set up that he wouldn't die because of the whole illusion with the severed hand of Thor.
Yeah.
So the whole thing could have been that, but in Infinity War, it was kind of
because I like the fact that still fans are going, "Oh no, Loki's not dead." It's like, no, he is. Oh yeah, how do you know, guys? I know he's faked his death a lot. But there's even a point where it becomes too much.
Yeah, I mean, he was clearly weakened.
Yeah.
And at that point, making an illusion that big is just not possible.
Yeah. And it's that point where fans are just grasping at straws, hoping and praying. It's like, no, guys, it's a good thing if he's dead because once again, it gives you stakes.
Exactly.
It gives you relevance.
We need to feel like these.
Which was very good that Infinity War started that way. It's like we know we've taken the piss with killing characters and then them not being dead. This time, 2 people are going to die straight away. Funny part is, you and me were so close to getting the first one up right because we both said it would be Loki, and then Heimdall.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about Heimdall at all.
And takes it, and we were like, I remember when I was in the cinema watching it, I just went, "Oh, hi, fuck you, Heimdall. Why did it be you?" I was so close to getting it.
I did have expectations of who would die, but I was wrong for the most part, except for Loki. I was
wrong. Yeah, Loki, I got right. Vision was a given.
But. Most other ones.
Spider-Man didn't see that.
I guess Scarlet Witch would die as well, but I don't know if the disappearance thing counts because we all. Here's the thing. That's the one thing that I kind of disliked. I mean, not enough to not love the film, but I did dislike the one thing about the film was basically when I watched it, the ending had me shocked.
Yeah.
Completely. Gave me one day. And I realized it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
because most of the characters will be back.
To be honest, I was jaw dropped at who they picked to die. That's what shocked me. And then I walked out, and I'm going, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of them had movie deals afterwards, so yeah.
It's not even about that.
Because I remember hearing, I remember talking with Sarah a few times, and she was going, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if some of the other Black Panther characters, what's her face, Okoye, got the lead of the next Black Panther movie?" I was like, "No, it's still going to be Black Panther because he's going to back. He's not permanently dead. It's called Black Panther, not Black Panther. Actually, no, we mean Okoye."
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not that.
Also,
I'd like her to have.
Also, the mantle of the Black Panther goes with the royalty of Wakanda. So
if she were Black Panther, make more sense. But
if she's still alive.
If she's even still
It's not.
alive.
I don't think it was confirmed ever.
Yeah. I think she will be.
In any case,
I think she will be just simply because just imagine when the film begins, she's gonna walk out like, "Where's T'Challa?"
Yeah.
And Okoye is just, and everyone in the show is gonna go, "Yeah." I'll be like, "Don't worry, he'll be coming back any moment.
Yeah, no, but
he'll be fine."
What I will say though is the beautiful thing about these films is it doesn't matter who lives or dies, essentially, because some of them may come back or stuff. It's more about like the moment, the impact that happens, and the growth that the characters go through experiencing that.
I think the thing is, at the very end of the next Avengers film, more characters are going to have to die for it to have real meaning. Because for characters to come back, there need to be consequences of some regard. Whether it's Tony Stark or Cap, one of those two is going to die.
Or both.
Let's just say, at the very least, one of them. I don't think Thor will. I think he'll go off and he'll actually become the permanent king of Asgard like he does in the comics. In like the Age of Ultron series or the next Avengers or whatever, where he basically pisses off and someone else takes the mantelpiece on Earth. What was I going to say? One thing I'll be interested in Avengers 4, whether Thanos still remains the villain, or whether there's an even greater threat that shows up.
I'd like to see if they would dabble with Eternity. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they can actually do with it, but it would be interesting to see if they want to go there. Because Eternity is like Thanos' biggest enemy.
Yeah. I think what would also be kind of cool to see
Lady Death.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Lady Death.
Yeah.
I would like to see a moment where he's sort of in that little fucking hut of his and he's just sitting there, and then she just sort of shows up and he actually maybe acknowledges her. Like, he didn't do it for her. It's very clear. Or, well, maybe not clear, but in the end she could actually perhaps even take on that Gamora role. It's like, well, are you satisfied with what you did? What? You're not happy that you got half the universe? It's like, half the fucking universe, Thanos! Do you know how much paperwork that is for me? I'm going to go through every single one of them now. It's like, you go that way.
That would be a twist.
You go up there. Like, she's just royally pissed.
Yeah.
Really
I still think that, like, if they introduced Lady Death as actually the reason why he did it this way, it would finally kind of put to rest the whole question of, like, why didn't he just double the resources?
Yeah.
Because then you know that he did it for an even higher purpose.
Yeah.
It
would be interesting if she was actually the main villain in the next one, where she goes and perhaps he did do it for her, and then ultimately she just goes,
"I didn't do it." Shows up.
And then Deadpool shows up, and he's the actual villain. No.
You know, they never confirmed that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because this whole Fox deal still kind of exists somehow, somewhere.
I think it's just sort of really hit the... It's sort of skid to almost a halt at this point, but yeah.
For sure.
I think Marvel is heading in an interesting direction, because after Phase 4, are they still continuing but with a different lineup? Or is it just...
So they're going to continue for a little bit, and then they're going to put it to an indefinite stop.
So after Phase 4, they may do one more phase, and then that will be it.
I think... No,
5 phases.
Phase 4 may be the final phase, potentially. Just like tying up loose movie deals and just kind of get it over. Because Avengers 4 is like the last film for Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk for sure.
Yeah.
That's as far as confirmed. It might be the last one for the Guardians as well. I'm kind of hoping it is, because let's be honest, without James Gunn, it's not really worth doing it. More on James Gunn later, actually. We have a beautiful tidbit. But I think Captain Marvel is going to get probably one more movie after this. We know Spider-Man's getting one more movie after this.
Spider-Man was going to possibly at least get a trilogy. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think they said that they were going to do one more Spider-Man film, and then it goes back to Sony.
Okay.
I think one more Black Panther film, one more Doctor Strange film, and that's
they have those scheduled.
And then obviously like a TV series with Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah.
Which could be cool. Maybe end up with one of them being Captain America.
Yeah. But
that said, I feel that this is probably a good point to go to a short break. Not really a break because we're still live, but quick sponsor break.
So yeah.
And our sponsor this week, if you want to take it away, is actually quite exciting.
I guess technically, we're saying sponsoring us, we're more sponsoring them because we're trying to get more.
Yeah, it's more of a shout out than anything.
Yeah. So I, along with two other people, Sarah Passo and Sammy. Sorry, Sammy, I can't pronounce your last name. I'll be blunt. But I'm dyslexic, so you'll forgive me.
Fair enough.
We found a production company called Rebel Genie. It's on Facebook. We have a website up and running. We just finished not just finished, still going. The episode's still being released.
Yeah, I think we're on episode 4 now.
Yeah, we're on episode 4 that was released 2 days ago. This web
I'm
series
editing, by the way.
Yeah, Ron is our editor of a series called Hayley and Henry. It's about 2 hitmen. The Kickstarter is currently live, so if all of you want to go to the Kickstarter, and
it's on the description.
Yeah.
Link to your YouTube page and then the Kickstarter as well.
Yeah. So please go and check it out. It will be a great help. Any donations will be greatly appreciated. Our goal is £10,000. We have currently got 2,000, and we have, I think, just over 2 weeks to go now. So
yeah,
come on, we can still do it.
If all of our current watchers give us just £1, we would have nothing.
£1. We'd have £1,
and that will come from you. But if this venture doesn't get successful, then hopefully Rebel Genie will. And
and I'll talk to the other guys eventually about the possibility of becoming part of Rebel Genie.
To be honest, I feel like with the other guys, like Rebel Genie should be like more than just If Adult Donut Justice and Hayley and Henry, because I feel like you guys first of all have a good thing going. Like you guys like each other, and that's really important when you're working together.
Yeah.
And I can tell that you guys really want to do like pretty exciting projects as well. Yeah. I think you guys have a short film as well.
Yeah, we're currently working on a short film
that's in pre-production. So honestly, like if you donate to this, it technically to an extent goes to the show Hayley and Henry, but it also goes to this indirectly because I want to get paid for helping out
for Henry.
I mean, I like to do things for free, but I also don't. So if we all did things for free, we would have communism. That would be a bad thing. So
because we all know how well it worked out for the Russian people when Stalin was in charge,
or the Chinese people, ever.
Yeah.
But it would indirectly go to this show, to future endeavors of Rebel Genie, and these guys are really awesome.
Yeah.
Not just saying that because one of them is sitting right next to you.
And Sammy's an extremely talented writer. Sarah is without a doubt the most hardworking person I've ever met. To the point where it's almost unhealthy.
If you go to the Kickstarter list, it's like half of the people in the credit list is just her.
Yeah.
And it's like producer, director, makeup, data wrangler to an extent. She was my data wrangler as well. That was nuts.
Yeah. So Sarah has done a huge amount. I know it would mean a lot to her if everything works out.
Yeah. So if you can spare a pound, donate in the link below. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's our sponsor, or us
sponsoring them,
sword, or our shout out, however you want to call it. Funny enough, I saw that we had a viewer while that was happening, and that person's left now.
Clearly didn't like it. Or this comment about that.
Sorry. Jesus.
It has to happen on every video of some sort.
Yeah, if you rewatch this actually on YouTube, it shows live comments if you want, so now it will pop up as well as first. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, in any case, that's it for that, and so as we were saying, James Gunn, as you may all know, we've discussed this, has left Marvel, has been fired, more accurately. And while we were away, he swapped sides. He has been hired as a writer and potentially a director.
Director for Suicide Squad 2, which probably means it will not be crap.
Well, I don't necessarily know about that.
I say that.
Because it's not just the writer and the director, but also the producers, and I feel like they're not going to give him that much freedom if they didn't give Zack Snyder. Basically, what this does mean, though, is that it puts everything in an awkward position, because there were some Guardians actors who kind of expressed interest to switch sides as well.
Yeah.
So Dave Bautista, for instance, has kind of flirted with the idea of like potentially wanting to become Bane.
Yeah.
He'd be which I'd love. I'd love to see that.
Perfect. Can you do a Spanish accent, Dave Bautista?
Maybe just a light one.
There's a light one, yeah. Actually, just quickly though on that topic, let's try and think of who the Guardians cast could play.
Okay, here's the thing. I know that the role's been taken already, but Chris Pratt would have to be Deadshot.
Yeah.
I know it's Will Smith now, but Chris Pratt fits better as far as like appearance goes.
And he could probably do that southern accent that Deadshot occasionally has a little bit.
But do we have to assume that they have to integrate with the current cast?
They don't have to. They don't even have to be part of Suicide Squad, just part of DC. Because I was about to say, I'd like to see Bradley Cooper as Hal Jordan.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because I think he'd make a really good Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd see that. Okay, well then Chris Pratt should be recast as someone else.
Yeah, sorry, let me just look up the actual cast so I get their names right.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Zoe Saldana need to think about who she'd be, but she's actually been in a DC film before called The Losers.
Okay.
That's a DC film.
Okay.
She was quite good in it. But then Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it as well, and he's been recast. So
I would say, okay, so quickly, I'd say Zoe as Vixen.
Yes.
That I think would work.
Yeah,
really
yeah,
well.
I like that.
Batista would be Bane, that's fine with me. Bradley Cooper I'd like to see as
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Born for Greedy.
Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula, I'd like to see her play maybe Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
She has the look.
That or Starfire.
Either one, yeah.
We're being very stereotypical right now for casting her with someone with red hair.
Got the red hair.
Let's be honest.
Go natural with it.
Let's be honest. I think Barbara Gordon better actually.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like she'd be good in a more.
And I think also she's shown that she has that cool martial arts ability as Nebula.
So who would be a good Starfire though? Pom Clemente, who played Mantis.
Huh.
Yes. It's basically the same role, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's brilliant. Who would Vin Diesel play? Just quickly.
Yeah, that's the question.
He can play CGI character. I think we can give him that. I think a weird one to throw out there. Bear with my madness on this one. Darkseid. Just imagine. I haven't got darkness. I've got family. And then Superman's like, wait, what? What?
What are you talking about?
What
family?
happened? Why? What?
Wait, what are you talking about, Darkseid?
But no, I probably.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Slade Wilson in Diesel. No, he's been cast already.
No, and the actor already is pretty good, I'd say. Joe Manganiello.
Thingy.
Yeah, that guy. He's already good. But I just had a person from. What about Solomon Grundy?
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah, because he's basically the same character Groot, isn't he?
Yeah. We'll try and think of other characters that could play on a permanent basis.
But that leaves Chris Pratt now.
Well, it still leaves quite a few, to be honest.
Stanley. Well, he wouldn't be cast. Michael Rooker. Oh, shit. He's also in need of being cast.
Yeah. Let's get up the actual second film. So that way. So Chris Pratt, I feel like he could play Booster Gold.
Yes, that's the one. And fucking
that's perfect.
I would like to propose recasting Bradley Cooper as the little robot.
Steve. Yes. Oh my god.
So they'd be like a power team.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Oh man,
that'd be so good. Actually, come to think of it, I actually would be interested in seeing Karen Gillan perhaps play someone like Killer Frost. Come to think of it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think actually who plays
I am pretty sold on her.
The woman who's in charge of that weird you recognize her. Who plays she could play someone
the gold person.
Yeah, the gold person.
I forgot the name.
Kismet is the name of the character.
Sure.
Elizabeth,
if she wants that.
Becky.
Elizabeth Debicki.
She could play someone like Killer Frost. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or even Cersei.
Maybe.
Do
we have to cast Sylvester Stallone?
What? Oh no, well,
I feel like we kind of have to.
Who's that really douchey guy in the Daily Planet? You know, the one from the comics and some of the animated
I
films,
don't remember his name.
where
The one who keeps going like,
he's like always like showing off his muscles and going up
Yeah.
to Lois, hitting on her. And
Hey Lois, what you seeing Clark? Do you want to be with a real man?
I feel like that could be so much
And then
stuff
she
to
go-
Lois.
And then she basically just goes like, okay, where?
And then he's like, me, and then you just hear on the window, and they look, and there's just Superman flying and just proving a point like a real man.
Yeah. Then again, I feel like Sylvester Stallone could be like a fucking. Oh wait, Sylvester Stallone is Rachel Gould.
That would be weird.
It would be weird, but it would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be interesting. To say the least. I'm trying to think.
I use the pit to keep my youth. Every time I come out of the pit, I come out stronger.
Oh god, that's
Also, you banged my daughter, you son of a bitch.
That would be brilliant. Actually, I think this would be a good sort of series to do where we cast Marvel actors as DC actors
Yeah.
and DC characters, and then DC actors as Marvel characters.
That'd be pretty funny.
That'd be funny.
But
I've
like,
seen some people,
but like as characters that haven't been cast yet, because we want to integrate them all.
integrate them.
We want just one big universe of the same people, and then
that would be fun
crossover.
to see. That'd be amazing.
Oh man.
So
that means we
we
have
still
to
need to think of
Kurt
Michael.
Russell as well.
Kurt Russell, Michael Rook. I think Michael Rook. I don't know. Maybe Captain Cold
I see that.
or Heatwave. Actually, maybe more so Heatwave.
I think Captain Cold works.
Yeah. And Kurt Russell.
See, the thing is, I'd cast him as Thomas Wayne if he hadn't been cast already.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
No.
Or no, I was going to say I'd cast him as Jor-El if Jor-El hadn't been cast already.
Also.
But let me think. Zeus.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
That
he
works.
could have been Zeus.
Alternatively, older Steve Trevor, because he does kind of look like Chris Pine for some reason.
Steve, did you get shorter? No.
What are you talking
Cyrus was in second Guardians of the
about? Oh
Galaxy.
yeah, you know at the end, one of the after credit scenes where like the old Guardians like get back together.
Okay.
She was the computer. It was a weird fucking casting choice, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan Fillion was kind of
He
in
was
Guardians
kind
2.
of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
He should be Green Lantern.
Yeah, of course. That's the obvious.
You can't debate that because he is already Green Lantern. He's been a Green
He's
Lantern
already been in DC for. I was going to say, who was it? Dustin Hoffman.
Oh man,
Dustin Hoffman playing.
he should be in there as well, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Wait, was he in Marvel?
Yeah, he was in the second Guardians of the Galaxy film when Ego turned himself into Dustin Hoffman because Peter Quill was obsessed with.
No, that was David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. Sorry, I meant David Hasselhoff. I'm sorry.
No, David Hasselhoff
I'm
should
sorry.
be everything.
David Hasselhoff. Who would David Hasselhoff be?
Oh,
Who would the Hoff play?
Hoff would just play himself.
Yeah, he just played the
Oh
Hoff.
man, would he be? Oh man, if he was the Riddler,
Actually,
that
no.
was so shit.
Actually, no. If it were the case where we'd have to include Dustin Hoff, God damn it, David Hasselhoff. I'm so sorry.
David Hasselhoff, yeah.
David Hasselhoff. I'd say no. Then he would play Booster Gold because that would make more sense. I feel he works better.
I guess, but then who would you have as? Who would you have Chris Pratt be?
Yeah, that's the only problem. I'm gonna say we keep him as the Hoff because he was the Hoff in Guardians, so
True.
to change what already is
Sure.
perfect.
I'd like to see him as the Riddler, but at the same time, I realize how bad of an idea this is.
That would be Batman and Robin level bad casting choice. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. If we did ever replace certain characters from DC into Marvel, I would love it to be with a snap of my finger. I could wipe out It would make so much sense.
Oh no!
Say perfectly balanced as all things should be. Oh, it'd be perfect.
Man.
Or do you want me to put the hammer down? I'll put the hammer down.
You should have gone for the head.
I will beg the star will is in your blood.
You have earned my respect. Man.
Or
So now we're going the other way around.
Or better yet. Or better yet.
Here's the casting choice. Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
Or better yet, I have an army. We have a Hulk.
No.
He turns into the Hulk. He's Tony Stark and the Hulk for some reason.
Let's just cast Arnold Schwarzenegger as
Every Marvel character.
I am Iron Man.
And he's also Scarlet Witch and Black Widow.
Hey, get out of that donut. I want to talk to you. Get out of the donut.
I'm going to keep my eye on you, Mr. Stark. Is that a real eye patch? Is that real? Oh, that's brilliant. Oh,
Captain America, I'm such a huge fan. Thank you. Can you please sign my baseball cards? Or not baseball cards, they're collector cards.
Yeah, they're collector cards.
Man. That would be disastrous, but also amazing.
It's kind of like that, that trailer someone did. What if Tommy Wiseau was Batman? That's basically what we've just come up with.
But it's funny because Tommy Wiseau also has an audition tape as the Joker, which is just excellent. No, stop with that. It makes my head fuzzy. Man.
Oh god, that's brilliant. Anyway, okay. On the topic, I guess DC and Marvel, and mainly DC, because we've been talking about.
Oh yeah.
We have to talk about them.
Yes.
Them.
So there's another.
So they got rid of Teen Titans Go, and they promised they'd be giving us Titans. We didn't know what kind of Titans they'd be giving us, but as it turns out, it's not much better. Yeah. Titans, the live-action TV show.
Admittedly, we haven't actually seen a single episode.
I've seen a few scenes from it. I've watched a few scenes. I've been trying to watch a few scenes. And so far, we'll say...
it's painful.
Robin is a character... meh. Jason Todd, hairstyle-wise, closer to Tim Drake, but as a character, he's got that level of aggression and, arrogance that really kind of... Okay, yeah, very close. Beast Boy, character-wise, very close. One problem, he can only turn into one animal, which doesn't work. Raven is not Raven. She is not dark and sort of, basically makes Batman look like a little happy kid. She actually is sweet and innocent. And Starfire is the grittier one, which they've reversed the characters. Yeah, Starfire, as it turns out, is an alien. But it still just doesn't...
Africa is not a different planet. Yes, I said it.
Yeah,
it's a bizarre cast. Like I'm sorry, I saw a lot of positive reactions online. It's a bizarre casting choice.
I'm going to quickly point out to anyone who may think, if you watch this, think, this makes you racist. No, we're talking about an orange alien being from another planet. We could not be less racist at this point. We know it's a fictional character, but that's kind of the point, guys. If in the end, if they came out and said, we ran out of budget, like, okay, fine, I'll let it go. At least you let it go because you actually didn't have the budget for it. Versus, we did this because we wanted it to be gritty or darker or whatever, or more realistic. It's
certainly got that down. Ultimately, I think it's just lazy. Because
it's lazy.
Here's the thing:
it feels like there's so little effort put into the show. Yeah. Just watching some of the scenes.
Like it's the same thing as and I admit this might be slightly racist, but if you were to have a character that's alien but predominantly yellow, and you would cast a Chinese person. And just not use any makeup whatsoever, just keep them out there. It's just lazy. And it's just weird. And it's just affirmative action almost.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Ultimately, if they were to cast someone as Starfire, I know
she swears
a lot, which is not
bizarre.
Starfire. It's not Starfire. They've gotten some of the characters pretty close, and a lot of the characters so fucking wrong, it's insane. because that's my other problem is, with it is is that what was it? It was really fucking bothering me. Oh, is that in the end, if they were to cast someone as Starfire, once again, no offense to the race side here, an Asian would make more sense.
Yeah.
More for the actual physical appeal. I mean, I'd still make her eyes green and perhaps make her skin more orange, but then it's less effort to put in.
Yeah.
But
this was just a weird move for no good reason whatsoever.
Yeah. I think also what problems me with Dick Grayson, there are moments where he feels like Dick Grayson. There are moments where he feels more like Damian Wayne because he actually he fights really brutally.
Yeah,
which is not Dick Grayson.
Also, again, he swears a lot.
Yeah, that part doesn't bother me as much.
But Batman.
That part. Well, actually, maybe not with Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson ends up, when he leaves Batman, resenting him slightly. He grows to his resentful less so later as Nightwing.
He doesn't become necessarily aggressive.
No, he isn't aggressive. He's slightly resentful. It wouldn't surprise me if the line "fuck Batman" would have made more sense if someone, Beast Boy had gone on going, "Oh, you were Batman's sidekick. That's so cool. What was he like as mentor?" Fuck Batman. Like, he says the tone very perfectly. Yeah. Like, he is an asshole, and he was a bad father. Fantastic mentor, but bad father. But I'll be interested to see if they ever include Batman into the show.
I would like to, because if you notice, the original Teen Titans animated show never included Batman.
Yeah, and then they included him in Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, but that was weird.
And it's not. But anyway, just quickly, so obviously there's been Flash, DC Legends, and everything. So Batwoman looks like she's officially going to be part of the DC 3-night crossover. Okay. Which she seems interesting. And they finally name drop Batman. So basically when she comes down, there's Flash and I think Cisco, and they're going, I just thought Batman was a legend, and then it turns out I still think he is, and then it's Batwoman who drops down, and I think, okay, that's kind of cool that they actually name drop Batman. Yeah, that's at least something. That's something. What's interesting, about the 3-night crossover of those things, it looks like a lot of it is reserved. So Supergirl is locked up by Alex Danvers, and Alex has the Superman logo on. It's just like, is Superman evil? Or something. Or is Supergirl evil? And she's just, this is interesting. And Oliver Queen and Barry have switched lives. So Barry is the Green Arrow. And Oliver is Barry. Yeah, it does look kind of goofy. And the funny as hell, though. It looks funny because the kiss with Iris and Oliver, it's like, what the fuck? It's such a great expression. Like, no. This is not where it's not. And the Barry as the Flash as the Green Arrow looks less ridiculous, but Ollie as the Flash. It looks honestly, so probably because we've never seen a bearded Flash before. Yeah, or a really tough Flash. Yeah, like he does not fit in that suit. Nah. That's what you get when you do all those salmon daughters. Yeah. Oh god, it looked really great. I'm interested by it. I'm curious to say the least, especially the introduction to Batwoman. I hope she's. By looks things, she looks like she is in the comics as well. Like that really sort of like she gives no fucks, which I'm looking for. And I would love for Batwoman to meet Sarah Lance. That would, immediately. I know Sarah is with Ava in Legends of Tomorrow at the moment, but let's be honest. It's rule number 1 about superheroes: they never stay dead. Rule number 2 about superheroes: they'll shag anyone. Yeah, they'll shag anyone. They're not faithful. I will say there was a great comical scene I saw recently from Legends of Tomorrow where Sarah goes in to Ava, who is basically, for all intents and purposes, her girlfriend at the moment, into her office, and she's also Ava's head of the Time Bureau and whatever. And Sarah is wearing this basically Flash's trench coat. She takes it off. She's wearing lingerie, and Ava's like, "Oh!" It's basically every fan's reaction, like, "Yes, I like this. I like this. Where this is going." And then she goes around, and it's perfect because someone enters, and Ava's like, and she looks like, "Fuck!" Did she go? It's like she's Black Canary. They do that all the fucking time. And then you see like a little behind the guy, a heel drop down from the ceiling, and she's like, "Okay." And then Sarah drop down and roll over, and it's like, "Okay, it's a really funny scene. I should show you something." Yeah, for sure. It's really funny. To be honest, I have not caught up with. I've not caught up because the last 2-3 series of each show has not been very good. To
I just
Flash since Avatar has not been great.
I have seen one episode of Flash,
Um,
and that was the first one. That's about it.
to admittedly, Arrow's got a little better. I'm
Okay.
still fucking annoyed with Felicity. I'd like her to officially die. Not because I don't like the action thing. I think we've gotten all we can get from the character. And seeing there's Black Siren, who's now basically Black Canary, I would like to see the final like Black Canary Green Arrow relationship be fulfilled, because that's what fans want.
Ultimately, yeah.
Ultimately, we want to see that happen. It's like Lois. It's Lana and Clark from Smallville. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Lois is down and invested because she's the last one he'll be with.
Yeah, it's like
Batman with no one, because that would
essentially, or Catwoman at the very least.
If it's anyone, it's Catwoman.
It's a kind of thing where it's like Back to the Future.
Yeah, or Wonder Woman, all essentially with Steve Trevor. They always end up with Wonder Woman less so, because Wonder Woman's not a love interest person.
I guess.
Us Aquaman Mirror makes more sense.
Yeah.
He'll always end up with Mirror. Ollie will always end up with Dinah / Laurel. Barry will always end up with Iris. Clark will always end up with Lois. Hal will always bang the alien next door, wherever it may be.
So he has no ties to Carl whatsoever then?
No, let's be honest, he'll probably end up with Carol at some point.
I guess.
But he's more like one in the sense that he's not severely tied down, I think.
I guess,
as a character.
But then, yeah.
But you always kind of feel bad for him and Carol. I don't know, it's just the relationship is strenuous because they're both of different cores, and her core is not a good core. Let's be honest.
No.
They have their moments where they're okay, and then there are moments where it's like, no, the Green Lanterns need to stop them.
Pretty much, yeah. On the subjects of DC, we got quite a big thing that happens as well while we were away. A certain cameo that didn't happen because of scheduling conflicts led to the firing of Henry Cavill.
Oh, because he was meant to be in Shazam, that's right.
He was meant to be in Shazam, but there was scheduling conflicts because of Mission Impossible, I think.
Yeah, and the Witcher series, I think, as well.
Yeah, and so basically DC was like, fine, you don't want to play along? Don't.
Yeah.
Bye. So,
which, if that's exactly how it went down,
it'd be pretty petty.
It would be petty. I'm not convinced it is, because it's honestly too petty.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because Henry Cavill, after Justice League, that was it. Everyone was finally sold. He is Superman. You cannot get closer than Henry Cavill. He has the look, he has the smile, he has everything going for him.
And it's very frustrating as well that they bring him back just for him to never appear again.
Yeah.
You may as well stay dead.
And obviously Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck may come back after rehab.
Maybe, but he's also said that he kind of doesn't really want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Which is really unfortunate, because Ben was really good.
It's true. Actually, both of them were really good.
They were both really good.
As far as the script allowed, obviously, but
they were good with the material they handed them.
Yeah, and we're still really happy with like how much they've done. It's Zack Snyder that was the culprit of it all.
Well, and Warner Brothers to a lot of extent as well. Suicide Squad was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And Justice League was also, let's be honest, heavily Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but
hiring Joss Whedon did save it a little. That was Warner Brothers' decision in the end, so that was a good move. So I think Warner Brothers has, slightly proven more so recently that they can be trusted occasionally, like with the hiring of Joss Whedon.
Every now and then.
And the firing of Zack Snyder. But then the firing of Henry Cavill. If it's a mutual thing where Henry Cavill said, okay, look, I've got other things I'd want to do in my career than wait around for DC to get my... Because Henry Cavill
it sounds like that's what it was.
I think that's the thing, because also Henry Cavill wanted a Superman sequel. And Warner Brothers, it didn't really feel like they were playing ball on that sense.
And I feel like they should have, because now was a real opportunity.
It was a really good time to give them a sequel. And also, I think the thing is, if that's the case, don't replace Superman with Supergirl. Don't do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make, Warner Brothers. Let Shazam fill in the spot of the big heavy hitter, and let Wonder Woman be the leader. That is the only route they can really take.
The thing is, yes, but at the same time, I kind of believe that alternatively, do Aquaman, do Shazam, do Flash, and Wonder Woman 2, And with Flash, it's Flashpoint, and it's over. And then we reboot it or try something else. But I feel like this was an experiment gone bad.
Yeah.
It failed. Just there's nothing to be embarrassed about, honestly.
Which is really unfortunate, because if they reboot it, they're probably going to take time to actually put effort into organising the next universe.
But that's what they should do anyway.
Which is what they should do, but that means the cast is probably not going to be at the right age by the time the next series comes
That's
out.
okay. They'll have to recast them anyway.
They would have to recast them as well, but I think that's the problem. Is I like Gal Gadot so much as Wonder Woman. She is really good.
I agree.
But yeah, if the sacrifice has to be made, ultimately, I'd rather the sacrifice of the cast than the quality.
Yeah.
Which is it's unfortunate, but that's the situation DC has gotten itself into now with the last few ventures, let's say.
The thing is, I think even then, she will get her own movie still next year.
Yeah.
Or in 2 years.
She's still getting one of them too. That's still happening.
That's still set in stone. Nothing's going to change.
Because they're filming it right now.
And ultimately,
Shazam comes out next year regardless.
Yeah, exactly. But on the subject of Wonder Woman, it's like ultimately she's doing the job well. She's done at some point she has done the job well, and at that point we would have been happy that she did, and no one is ever going to be able to take that away from us. If she goes on too long in a different universe as well and all that, she might end up kind of wearing down. Because they might not have the best ideas for her and not the best scripts, and the scripts are ultimately what is going to stick as that film, ergo her.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that I would like to kind of have avoided.
Yeah.
So I think Wonder Woman 2, yes. Flashpoint, yes.
So,
that's it. That's all she'll ever have to do, really.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, DC has gotten into the habit of recasting former actors as other characters.
True.
They've done it before. They can do it again. So it wouldn't surprise me if they recasted Gal Gadot as Hippolyta in the next Wonder Woman series.
Yeah, I don't see why.
Jason Momoa might be hard to place. They could do. Ezra Miller could be Jimmy Olsen.
I think that would work better than Flash, because honestly, I don't think he's a decent Flash, but I don't think he's a particularly good Barry Allen.
No, he's not Barry. He's not. He's closer to Wally and Bart than Barry.
Yeah, he's. I feel like he's too young anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they're going to do the Green Lantern movie anymore. Let's be honest.
We haven't seen anything about it, and there's no news about it. There's nothing being said.
There's not even any rumors about casting anymore.
No,
there were a few at some point, but
it's pretty much done.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I do feel bad for Warner Brothers, because ultimately, if it had worked, it would have been the best thing. But it didn't. Things didn't go their way. Certain directors they shouldn't have picked were picked. Certain
decisions.
Yeah, and obviously, I'd say the blame is sort of bits of it are them, bits of it are Schneider, bits of it are other writers, bits of it are some of the casting choices that are made by either producers, directors, studio, or all three. And I think ultimately that's just where DC has faltered and fallen flat. I think if they were to continue with DC in some capacity, what I would like them to do perhaps is maybe go to the Titans and just maybe do a live action movie series stint with them.
Maybe.
And just, perhaps, or if Warner Bros. Is set on saying, look, we're going to reboot the universe, but we want to do it directly afterwards, go now, do some standalone movies for other characters that haven't been heard of before, get them out there, get them known, while you work on the big fish.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because that's the best way of doing it, because DC has endless material. Endless.
True.
And I think that's the thing. And it's really, God, it's depressing being such a big DC fan and just seeing DC just completely collapse.
Yeah, but ultimately, I feel like it's still Warner Brothers just making bad decisions.
It is.
Because as far as comics go, they're pretty strong currently.
Yeah, they're
to an extent. I have to say there's things that they're doing right now that I just generally disagree with.
Yeah.
Death of Superman, not a good idea. I don't see the point of releasing a comic book series under the same name of something that is already kind of set as legendary to support a film you recently made. I don't see the point of it.
Yeah.
I am honestly not involved with Doomsday Clock anymore. because I keep forgetting that a new issue comes out.
The bi-monthly thing really.
It wears it down, and it's honestly not worth it because
It's not.
Every time an issue does come out, it's very short.
Yeah, it should. The one every month might have been fine. Bi-weekly would have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Because while you still have to wait 2 weeks, you think, 2 a month.
Even
That's
then,
fine.
it could be still like if they just half the length of the book and then release it slightly more often, I'd be happy with that than having it. What is it, like? I think it's 30 pages.
30 to 40 pages roughly.
That's not that much for.
Because at this point, I'm just waiting for the whole thing to come out as one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for at this point, which is, I think, because also I think in terms of the comics, what I've been enjoying at the moment are the Titans, the current Titans with Nightwing, Donald Trump. I love that lineup. I think it's a really good lineup. I'm enjoying Superman because I think the whole father-son dynamic is great.
Sure, yeah.
Some of the Justice League stuff on and off I've enjoyed. The Flash I enjoying quite a bit as well at the moment now. Those are the ones I.
The Batman thing was kind of to be expected. The wedding thing.
Oh, the wedding.
Yeah. Did that happen while we were away?
I think
she stood him up. That's basically what happened. And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back into crowd fighting." That's literally all it was. It was dumb.
I think the whole wedding thing was not a good idea.
I don't necessarily agree, but I feel like if they decided to do this, they should have at least gone through with it, right?
Yeah.
They should have actually decided this is what's going to happen.
I would have liked it more if they had gone through with the wedding and then there'd be a divorce, because that would have been quite entertaining to watch.
No, exactly.
Catwoman and Batman is like, how they divide stuff up? Does she get the cave? He gets the mansion. That would have been great. But something like that.
Did it just go halfsies?
No.
You know,
she gets the car, and he gets the plane.
Or like she gets the mansion, the car, the garden.
She takes it for everything.
The money.
It's all just one big con by her.
And then he takes Alfred.
He still wins. It's like
because ultimately, without Alfred, the whole thing isn't worth shit.
Yeah, it's not worth crap. You need Alfred. But she gets stuck with Damien.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Actually, to be fair, I think during the wedding thing, there were a few issues where I think Damien was involved, but I don't think he was nearly involved as much as he should have been, because it's a big thing.
It's kind of a big thing.
Is getting married to another woman,
and that's going to be his stepmom, which honestly I think he should like to an extent.
Yeah, I think the thing is, what would have been great. I'm not sure if they did. I need to go back and perhaps reread it, but I know she and Talia had an issue. Like an issue where it was about the two of them, which I thought it wasn't really relevant. It would have been made more sense if it were about her and Damien. And it would have been Damien rejecting her, thinking, "You're not as good as Talia, not as good as my mother." And then at the very end, her proving, like, "Your mother's a horrible person. And I'm not great."
The thing is, he should know that by now.
It's like, and like he goes, "I know my mother's a horrible person, but you're not my mother." And then ultimately, I don't think so. Selena would be like, "Look, I'm not looking to become your mother. You can take care of yourself. You know, I'm just going to be here to make sure your father is still your father." And I think that would be more in her character.
No,
and he would like that a lot more. It's like, okay, you're not trying to be someone you're not, but you're trying to keep him as someone he should be. I think he would like that a lot more. And I think it's like, just saying, it's more within her character. And I think the issue though with Superman and Lois was great, where they had the basically double.
Oh yeah,
that was real. That was a good issue. I really enjoyed it.
No, but that was kind of great as well, because like when you think about it, would Batman ever invite Superman to his wedding? Logic says yes, but at the same time, is he kind of ashamed?
Logic says yes, but would he? That's the ultimate thing. There's a difference between would he and actually doing it.
No, exactly.
I think that's the thing, because I think he'd also be ashamed in the fact that he's marrying a criminal, and perhaps Clark not liking that. But I think ultimately it would be. I think also it would also be interesting as well. Obviously, we had the side from Superman going, "Look, you know, he didn't invite me, but that's his choice. Maybe he just doesn't want me there. Maybe we're not as close as I thought." You know, because Batman is a very secretive person. I like the fact that it was both Lois and Selena going, "Look, you should talk to him because he's basically your brother.
Yeah, you
need your brother's consent." Actually, I would have liked an issue where perhaps Selena asks Clark, or maybe more so Alfred, but for consent.
Alfred makes sense.
Actually, I think it would make sense if she goes Alfred, and of course Alfred would say yes. She goes Clark. Clark would probably be a little hesitant, but he'd be like, yeah, he needs someone like you to keep him honest. And you may not be an honest criminal. You're not an honest person, but at least you're an honest criminal. Something like that. And then Wonder Woman. Because you're going to need the Trinity's consent. And I think Wonder Woman would have been the more difficult one that could consent.
Probably, yeah.
I think she would have been the more straight on going, look, I don't trust you. I think you're a bad representation of what I represent, and blah, blah, blah. And then basically Catwoman going, look, I'm a feminist too. Really? Yeah. I steal shit from men all the fucking time.
Pretty much, yeah, there you go.
I con men into doing shit I want them to do. Don't you do that? No. What? Sorry, you go to the UN and give speeches about feminism? Yeah, you do the same thing I do. Just
pretty much.
You talk instead of steal.
Nuances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as a weird thought, comics-wise, I love a comic book series where it's Lois and Catwoman. Because I love the banter between the two of them. Because I think they would be. I think they'd get along like a house on fire.
What story would you tell?
I think that is a difficult one. But I think it would be more like maybe them bringing down some crooked corporation. You know, Lois being the journalist with the access to the ability to tell the story, and Catwoman being the brain, not the brains, but the one who can actually infiltrate and find out stuff.
Yeah,
that would be cool to see.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'd like to take this moment to remind everyone again, if you're watching on playback, that this episode is connected, sponsored with Rebel Genie. We're currently doing are doing their show called Hayley and Henry, which is currently in post-production / being released. 4 episodes in, going strong.
As a quick reference, so next week, if you watch this before next Thursday, which would be, what day? What's the date would be next Thursday?
That would be the 6th, I think.
You're right. Yes, it'd be the 6th. I will be in that episode as one of the actors.
So. There you go. So more reason to go watch, subscribe to them, and maybe, hit that donate button on Kickstarter. Literally, even a pound goes a long way.
Yeah. And it's just encouraging for us to see that people are at least interested. Even if we don't reach our 10,000 goal, if we see people donating, it encourages us thinking, okay, we can still find funding. People are invested in some way.
Exactly. So please do so. Yeah. We do invite you to donate as much as you can, as much as you want, really. But more importantly, we invite you to watch the show. We're very proud of it. This week is episode 5, as we said, with Guy in it. And then there's 2 more episodes. And the final episodes
tomorrow it may be split into 3. Because episode 7 may be split into 2.
Okay.
It's unconfirmed at this point.
Unconfirmed. But if it's not, it would be a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And
all the episodes have been really good. The editing's been amazing on them, which Ron was the editor of it.
Thank you.
So yeah, we've been really happy with it thus far. So yeah.
Cool. So going back to some of the topics, we don't have many left, so it's worth calling it quits in a bit. It's worth mentioning that while we're away, we got another trailer for something as well, which was the Lion King trailer.
Yeah.
And
Aladdin had a trailer recently as well. I haven't seen
it had a teaser. It had a teaser. And so did Toy Story actually as well.
Yeah.
But more importantly about Lion King. Lion King was like
that was more of a full-blown teaser trailer.
Like the problem
it didn't
is
reveal too much.
The problem I have with it, yes, I do have a problem with it, is it feels very much like it's just a remake.
Yeah.
Word for word, shot for shot, scene by shot,
which is
of the original animated film. Now, this is something that Disney has been doing for a while now, apparently. The live-action remakes are technically the exact same films as the original films that they were made from, save maybe 1 or 2 songs.
Yeah.
Or was that the case for Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast was pretty much, I think, exactly the same. Because I remember
no new songs even.
Yeah, no new songs or no even new scenes. I remember watching it I didn't even watch it in the theater, thankfully, but I remember watching it just thinking, what a fucking waste of time.
Right.
Nothing new was introduced. And when you remake something like this, it's a perfect opportunity. Cinderella I was a little more impressed with. I think when I saw I don't even remember the original though, so that might play a part.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
So with Lion King, that's kind of a concern as well, because the lines spoken in the trailer were the exact same that were in the film. More importantly, as well, we have James Earl Jones reprising Mufasa, which is cool, but at the same time, it's like
it's a concern.
It's like if you're going to remake a film and recast the whole cast, why would you keep that one the same?
Because that ultimately for me, the one thing it does raise red flags in the sense that I look at that and go, okay.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that Donald Glover is Simba.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, that's the only real good change.
Yeah, because I think I'm trying to really find this one fucking picture that I saw.
Because I mean, why not as well just keep Jeremy Irons and Rowan Atkinson in their role? Right. Yeah. So this is the new live action because they can't see it. This is the new live action Lion King remake. But all the characters are CGI. Yep. And all the backgrounds are CGI. Yep. Then it's an animated movie. It's a live action remake.
So just quickly to give you an idea.
See, this is the memes that we were talking about. You can pause here, accept if it's live, in which case you can't.
I'll just
I mean, you can, but you'll lose some progress.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
I'm calling it the live action remake for the sake of saying that, but it's technically still.
It is still an animated.
It's an animated film.
Maybe with some motion capture performances, I think will be thrown in.
Still,
they should be, yeah.
But
I think, because when I saw James Earl Jones,
or they just go, here's a random human to justify the live action thing.
Yeah, just randomly walk by, which would be good because then at least it means they changed something in the film.
Literally just a kid going by, just going like, or just a small person, a little person, just going like,
it's Mowgli.
Come on, Pumbaa.
It's Mowgli.
Or Mowgli, yeah, may as well. Like, hang on, you're not in this franchise.
What the fuck? Where did you come from?
Massive crossover event confirmed.
Oh my god. Disney Universe confirmed. Oh my god, all the
literally just at some point, Mufasa just going, Simba, I don't feel so good.
Oh god, no. But no, I think when I saw James Earl Jones, Poe was going, I was like, oh. I mean, I was going, this raises a lot of red flags. Because I think that's the thing. They need to be careful because don't just remake it shot for shot, scene for scene. Add some stuff in there because ultimately that's what a remake is for, to add extra material and change certain things. That's the whole point. But actually, I'll ask this question of you because I've thought of some films that I would like to do. If you could remake certain films, what films would you do remakes of?
So are we talking types of films or
just any films?
Any films.
Because for me, my three would be The Iron Giant. I'd like to remake that.
Okay.
War of the Worlds, because I do it fairly differently to how Steven Spielberg did it.
Sure.
And somewhat different, actually no, very differently to the original. And also 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Because I was a big fan of that film and I'd like to see it again, but with better special effects and present day.
I would... It's a toughie. I would probably remake. It's a because the thing is the films that are popping in my head right now are like classic beloved films mostly. But when I say remake, I don't want to say that I dislike them because I love them. No, actually, I would. That's the thing. I would leave it as it is. But the thing is, for some reason, The Matrix pops up to me.
Okay.
Because I would like to kind of remake it with a slightly different premise, or like slightly different characters, but the idea of it, the whole thing, the whole structure of it would still be the same.
Okay.
And when I think about it like that, I think to myself, if I just keep the structure the same, why would I remake it?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
How about this? Instead of remake, should be the word remake or reboot. So you could reboot a film but do it differently in a sense, or a franchise.
Okay.
Or do a continuation bit with new characters.
So I think if I were to remake a film, first of all, it would be RoboCop because it's been remade already, but it was crap.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it needs to be updated to our current modern norm, and it can be if you just keep the story more or less the same and you just update the effects.
Yeah.
Second would be. This is tough. I kind of hate this as well.
Actually, one film that I would also like to do. I know it only just got another recent remake, but boy oh boy was it! It did not feel like anything like the first two. Would be Predator.
Yeah.
Because I watched the new one when it came out, and I walked out going.
Should probably remake it so it's not like
because I would do it
autism.
I would set it in the modern day. I'd keep the first two as canon and everything, and have it be in a similar thing where it's in a jungle, a group of U.S. Navy SEALs or whatever are sent to. I'd set it in probably Southeast Asia for a change.
Yeah.
And they are sent in, and they basically discover, yep, there's an alien predator here. We have to kill it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Oh, of course, Superman.
Yeah.
That
for me was a given.
Obviously, I was going to remake that easy, because for some reason it's so difficult to make a good Superman film.
Yeah.
So that's it. I wouldn't. The thing is, if I were to say I would remake Batman, I feel like I have to go specific into which one.
Yeah.
And it would be Batman and Robin because it is a disastrous, like weird film like that. I would go out of my way to make it.
You'd keep the back credit card though, right?
I'd make it campier.
Okay.
I'd try to make it worse.
You'd go for the full-on.
So basically,
route.
Here's how I would do it. Exact same cast, right?
Brilliant. Already sold.
That's basically it. Because imagine they're how much, like 20 years older by now. Uma Thurman, not what she used to be. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think, shrunk since. George Clooney not wanting to do anything, but Chris O'Donnell as well, or Chris O'Donnell was it? Not wanting to have anything to do with. Oh no, that's what I'd do. I'd recast Chris O'Donnell with Chris O'Dowd.
Chris what?
O'Dowd from IT Crowd. Man.
But
And then I would also remake.
Actually, I'd also be tempted to do more stuff with Aliens, the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
With more colonial marine stuff. I think that would be more interesting, faster than the route they've taken before.
True.
But
I would. I think I would remake The Shining.
Interesting choice.
I would actually go as far because I didn't. The things I know it's a beloved film. I didn't actually like it, and it was mostly because it felt like it was trying to tell me something more than what there is.
Yeah.
I would try to, and weirdly enough, there was one thing that ever had anything to do with The Shining. That was kind of The Shining, but directed by someone completely different, being Steven Spielberg, and that was in Ready Player One with the Shining scene, and that I actually enjoyed a lot more than the whole film itself. The Shining, which is kind of odd because, and I feel like if I were to get Steven Spielberg to direct a remake of The Shining, it would probably be really pretty good.
Yeah, because to be honest, Stanley Kubrick to me as a director is never someone who's really struck me. I've never been fascinated by him. I've never been, oh wow. I haven't seen too many of his films. I've seen a couple, but not a huge amount.
Yeah,
but I've never been wowed by him. Whereas Steven Spielberg, admittedly, he has his off days. I mean, we all remember Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull.
Even that, no, it was actually pretty depressing.
No, that was bad.
It was.
But that's the thing I say, because Spielberg is the king of one thing: it's consistency.
It's true.
He is very consistent. Typically, there are very few films of him that are bad. Very few. There are a couple, but very, very few. He is the one director who usually knocks them out of the park. They're never always great. That's the other thing. For example, Ready Player One, I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite films of the year. Yeah. But it wasn't a masterpiece by any means. But I still really enjoyed it.
I've seen it in IMAX as well.
No, I've never.
That's
I didn't see it. I didn't see it when it came out. Which
really, man,
that broke.
I remember I went to see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
That first race scene was insane.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It's like, to be fair, I do want to watch more films in IMAX nowadays because I think it's an actual. I know that a lot of people are like, no, you should watch films like in stereo as they were intended. They're no longer intended that way. So
no, they're intended, especially films like the big Hollywood stuff.
Exactly. So like films like Ready Player One, Avengers: Infinity War, actually
some of the Star Wars films.
Star Wars films as well. They're meant to be seen on a huge screen with insane sound.
Yeah.
That's how they were meant to be.
So there was another film I just thought of. Oh, it wouldn't be a remake. Well, it would be a remake / continuation. I'd love to do Planet of the Apes. So in the current form that it is, but then in where the original series began, I'd set that sequel.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're astronauts that have come down and everything's fucking changed. I'd love to remake that.
No, for sure.
Because I think it would be really interesting.
I think if there's another film that I would want to remake as well, bear with me. It's Die Hard.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of Die Hard.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love the first one. I liked the second one. I adored the third one more than the first one. The fourth one was fun.
Yeah.
The fifth one was just crap.
Oh, that was terrible.
But I still enjoyed it, but it was crap. But I feel like I would probably remake the fourth one.
Yeah.
In a way that it could never really go that direction of like, instead of like, because what I loved about the first three was that it was always kind of contained and like
into one isolated spot, yeah.
Mostly an isolated spot, maybe one town or something. The fourth one went all over the east coast of America.
Yeah.
And then the fifth one went pretty much all over the west side of Russia. It's like at some point it becomes too over the top in that sense.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it was that it
becomes too much like the Expendables.
Yeah, exactly. That said, I would like to remake the Expendables.
I think now they're also making the fourth Expendables now.
I believe that. I think that was the plan, but there's awkward things there because I think Sylvester Stallone left the project.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's weird because it's essentially his films.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what they want to do with that.
Yeah. What else? Also, a quick little note: John Wick 3, I think, is officially began filming.
Sure.
I mean, I like the first two.
I liked the first one. I didn't really get the point of the second one.
Okay. Yeah, the first one was much better than the second one. I will say that. But
I think the whole premise
as well. Yeah, just some really badass Keanu.
And I love the second as well. The second one, I love the intro where it's like, oh yeah, they also stole his car. That's a thing. Oh, we spent so much attention to the dog that we didn't even think about the car anymore. Because it didn't matter anymore.
It was brilliant. Because I remember when I watched it for the first time, which I think was only maybe this year, and I was sitting in a room, and it was a friend of mine. And we were watching it. He goes, "You have to watch this." Okay, I'll watch it. And we were watching it, and I go, "Does he just go after these guys because they kill his dog?" And he just goes, "You basically summarized the whole just before they kill the dog." No,
they stole his car as well.
But he was mainly doing it for the dog. Let's be honest.
Yeah, true.
But when I said that, it was before the dog was even killed, and he was just like, "How the fuck did you figure?" I was like, "Dude, it's not hard plot to figure out. It's not,
also, that's the
does not take rocket science to figure out what he's going to do."
That's the meme as well. Have you seen Reverse John Wick, where John Wick dies and the dog goes after them?
That'd be brilliant.
No, that's actually a short film on YouTube right now. It's Rocket Jump as well.
Right.
Freddie Wong.
Oh yeah, I'll give it a watch.
It's fucking dumb. Or Quarter so it doesn't really matter.
I think, having said all this, the one thing I would like to see in Hollywood more now, and I think you can agree with this as well, are original films.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, I don't mind seeing the occasional remake or reboot, but I don't want Hollywood just to be filmed.
Here's the thing. I want Hollywood to be more consistent in whether they want original films or not. Because people keep saying there's an epidemic going on because original films aren't getting as much exposure as they should do. But then the original films that do come out get really bad ratings.
And they're really crap.
Yeah. So they're not being consistent with what the audience wants necessarily, which is they want original content, but it's not being delivered that well, and they don't like the original content. So clearly something goes wrong there. I mean, there's films like, for instance, have you seen Widows?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So that's an original film as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Directed by whoever it was, Steve McQueen, who did 12 Years a Slave as well. It was boring.
Yeah.
Mostly because of storytelling device or whatever. It's like the initial incident starts like right at the start of Act 1, and then they're building up to essentially a heist, but it takes 2.5 acts to actually get to the heist.
Because I will say one consistent problem I've noticed is while they're also doing a lot of remakes and reboots, they fail all the time as well.
Oh yeah,
like Predator, colossal failure. The last few Alien films have been. It's clear Hollywood has lost its ability to produce a lot of great quality, and the only one that's really keeping it afloat, let's be honest, is Disney. Disney is the only one producing some quality content.
Let's be honest, the answer to that is really simple to why that is, and that is Hollywood in general is making films that they think that people want to see, right?
Without actually listening to what
so basically when people go, I want to see an original film, I want original content, they go, okay, we'll do something. And they make something that they think might work because it's like different from everything else and just kind of like Widows is essentially like a heist film, but is kind of artsy in that sense.
Yeah.
And then there was, for instance, at the start of the year, there was All the Money in the World, which is truth be told based on a real life story, but still like it's written as an original content essentially. And people didn't really like that.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, I love this film from the past. Oh, I wish I could watch it in cinema again." They go, "Okay," and they just remake it or make a terrible sequel to it.
Yeah.
And then people just kind of get crap. But then we look at other films like the MCU. They make films not because they know that that's something that people want to see. They hope people want to see it. But first and foremost, they make something that they want to see themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Which I think that's the problem with, let's say, people like Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, Universal,
LucasArts even.
Not as too much to the same extent because it's currently under control by Disney.
Yeah, but you have to admit, as far as Star Wars films nowadays go.
Yeah. Is that they're going, what do people want to see rather than what would I like to see? Because that's the thing I think the studios are forgetting is that they're audience members as well.
Yeah.
You are an audience member. The first person who sees this film in a cinema are the executives typically.
Exactly.
So as an executive, ask yourself, what do I want to see? I do want to see some original content. We should go out there and look for some original screenwriters who come up with original ideas and see what they've got.
But more importantly than that, a good film is made because you can tell the passion of the person writing it.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that they care. A lot of films nowadays that come out, it's basically they take keywords or key things that people say, and they kind of put them into a generator and then hit action, and then the script is produced from that, and then it's kind of tidied up so it seems like human beings are saying it, but then when human beings are saying it on screen, it still doesn't feel real. And that's the problem with a lot of films that we see nowadays, is that we actually had a pretty famous producer at our film school a couple of years ago who gave a lecture called Jan Harlan. And he said something that did, he said a lot of things, but the one thing that he said that stuck with me was a film doesn't necessarily have to be realistic. It just has to be real.
Yeah.
And what he meant by that, if this might be confusing, is we don't have to believe that lightsabers can be a reality. We don't have to believe that we can shoot lasers out of a gun. We don't have to believe that people can have these incredible superpowers. Yeah. We do have to believe, however, that whatever these people choose to do with those are motivated by good reason to do so. We have to believe that these people actually are living people with morals who decide to do these things because they truly believe that that's what they want to do. We have to believe that these people could exist and walk among us. We have to believe that if we have a conversation with this person, they could tell us their life story.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of films nowadays are missing.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. One of the best pieces of advice I got during the screenwriting course is that when you're building a world, the world, as Jan Harlan described, does not have to be realistic, but the rules within that world have to make sense within its own realm. The lightsabers have to feel like they're natural. In other words, that's one of the best things whenever you build a universe. For example, lightsabers, or space travel within Star Wars. It's one of those things where characters go by, and if we're in our world, we'd be going, wow, amazing. But no one's like that. It's so nonchalant, and that's because they're used to it.
Exactly.
That's why it's realistic, because for them it's an everyday occurrence, it's an everyday thing. Which is why, weirdly enough, as we've discussed, if we were to make a Superman film, we'd have Superman already be established as he's been around for a while. Because in that way, whenever he flies by, there's no, oh wow, there's a flying man. It's like, oh, there's Superman. Oh, we see him, once or twice a day. Like, it's a regular thing for these people where, yeah, they're used to him by this point. It's a thing where no one argues with it anymore. They might have done when he first started, but not anymore.
Exactly. And I know that this is not really a film, and I do kind of want to bring the subject up. But one good example of this, for instance, is while on our break, Doctor Who started up again.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great example for what it is now, because as most of you may know, the Doctor is played by a woman now, which honestly, I think after a lot of consideration, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the concept.
I was kind of against it at first, not because I think it's a problem, but because I felt like it was a political move. But once attuned to it, I mean, it was a political move. That's obvious now. But once attuned to it, it's a cool idea to have that happen. The thing is, what happens in most episodes is all she really does is proclaim how guns are bad and bullyings are not cool and stuff like that. It's like, I understand that the show
it's become almost like a kid's show.
The thing is, I don't mind that necessarily, because kids shows can still be really good, and Doctor Who was originally made to be a kids show.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's about what you want to teach these children. For instance, there was this episode called it was I don't remember which number it was, Kerblam anyway, which is about this moon of a planet that essentially is like one big warehouse. And there's something going wrong there. So they go undercover there as people who work there on the work floor. And they kind of interact with the woman who works there as well. She's like, packing the packages, putting the order in, and then gets it ready for sending. And at some point, the CEO of the company comes in and he insults that woman. So the Doctor and one of the companions kind of come to help her. The boss gets angry. And then the Doctor says something like, oh, you shouldn't talk to her like that because you're just a bully and you're being mean to her.
Mm.
And then the boss goes like, just get back to work. And I was thinking to myself, how is she not fired? You do that to any other boss, he'd get fired. So basically, the problem that I have with that is it's not real, because what you're telling to children is stand up to bullies at all times. Cool.
And nothing can happen to you. Like,
if that's what they're saying, then that's wrong, because I'm very well aware that out of personal experience, I can tell you, if you do that to a bully and go up to them and go, hey, you're a bully, you're uncool, stop that, you'll get smashed in the face with a fist. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Instead of that, you should diplomatically think about how to teach a bully that he is indeed a bully. That's how you get around it. You don't do the And another beautiful thing. There was an episode about the partition of India and Pakistan.
Yeah, that's right.
Because one of the companions is Pakistani, technically, and her grandmother is so mysterious, and she didn't know anything about the grandfather. So she decides that she wants to travel back in time to meet her grandmother when she's younger, so she could meet her grandfather. Now, the Doctor reluctantly does this, but she does say, like, oh, but you do understand that we are going to be directly, like, in the
within the weird timeline.
We're going to be directly involved to an extent with your personal history, which means that if we get involved, you might not exist.
Yeah.
What do they do 10 seconds later? They get involved. Yeah. And basically, all that is saying is basically, it doesn't make you think about time travel anymore.
I think I think we've also pointed out this problem is that a lot of what has happened, especially within not even just Hollywood, but just actually in any film industry in the Western world, they've become too political.
Yes.
We're too much about like, oh, you got to be politically correct. No, you don't have to be. In fact, often enough, it's a good thing that you're not, because people go, how can someone write a character like that to prove a point that it's not good?
No, exactly.
You write these bad people so other people go, what an asshole. That way, you know you're not an asshole because you know he's an asshole.
Yeah, point in case, I've been watching a lot of Big Bang Theory recently. Boy, oh boy, there is issues there. I think we talked about this guy before the show, but I'm sure you've seen the video by Pop Culture Detective.
Yeah.
He has 2 videos actually, each in half an hour, which honestly you can better spend just watching an episode and you know he's wrong. But basically he's posing the whole thing about like how the characters are inherently misogynistic, and we are kind of applauding that by laughing at the jokes that they're making. Yeah. If you watch one episode of that show, you realize one of them is a misogynist because he's been raised by his mother and is kind of awkward around women. One of them is a misogynist because he doesn't know any better. He's a fucking socially, what's it called? Let's call it socially retarded. Inept is a better word. But basically, like, he's not just a misogynist, by the way. He's a he just hates people. He just thinks he's better than anyone, regardless of your gender.
You mean Sheldon, right?
Yes, but like, obviously, he has like these misogynistic moments where he like assigns gender roles. The joke isn't the gender roles themselves or the fact that it's funny that things are the way they are, or even though they're not, but whatever. The joke is that they are being misogynistic and they don't realize it. Yeah. We are laughing at them. And I know that a lot of people in comedy say we should laugh with people, but those people are wrong. We're perfectly entitled to laugh at people every now and again, especially if they're being dumb. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you watch the whole show through, I'm at season 8, I think halfway through season 8 at this point. I'm just watching chronologically now. It doesn't matter how bad they're, you'll still feel for them because you understand that this is just the kind of people they are. There's nothing you can do about it because they are socially inept as they are. You might even say retarded. Honestly, at times it really gets there.
I think also on 2 notes, because people have said that about Friends, how it's misogynistic or it's racist or offensive or whatever.
Which is great because it's one of the only shows that actually has like a proper male to female lead character ratio.
Yeah. And the other thing is as well, what people seem to want are when people complain about those kinds of shows, and it's clear that they're not feminists, they're extremist feminists who are just angry that they're not being heard. You are being heard, and it's affecting the rest of the television and film industry world, because what you want are perfect characters that are good, nice, nothing wrong with them, no flaws, where they're not offensive or not any of that. And then what we end up with characters like Rose in The Last Jedi, who are poorly written, uninteresting, dull as shit.
Also, if you just have nice characters all the times,
nothing happens.
Where's the conflict?
Yeah, there's no that's the whole point of telling a story. There's meant to be conflict. If you have characters with flaws, and I was talking about this with Ron earlier, on paper, when looking at, let's take the Trinity at the moment, so there's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. On paper, Superman is the perfect character. Well, perfect person. He is invulnerable, has all these amazing powers, he has 2 weaknesses. On a character level, though, Wonder Woman is the perfect person. She has very few flaws. She always does what's right. She doesn't give into her anger or anything like that. She kills, yes, but
occasionally,
very occasionally. Batman is a deeply troubled person because his past still affects him in a really negative fucking way. Superman is in constant fear of his own power and what he could do if he doesn't. So he always holds himself back. He has self-doubt. Wonder Woman grows up as being prejudiced towards men because that's the way she's raised on the island. She's raised in an innocent, naive world. She then chooses voluntarily to leave this world to learn more about the world she's not meant to know about. She goes there, still has her beliefs on men are evil. Within the span of an origin story, gets over it like that. Immediately. Then she has respect for every single person, no matter gender, ethnicity, whatever. Her mother, however, on a more interesting note, is still sexist because she still doesn't allow men on the island. She still believes men are the evil of the world and that they corrupt everything. Her mother's more interesting because she's flawed. Diana is the perfect person. There is nothing wrong with her. On paper, nothing. Which, honestly, is why I don't read a lot.
Does she even have a weakness?
No. She can take a beating about the same sort of thing as Superman, but she can.
Because I remember the whole point of like Justice League Doom was that she would like keep fighting until her heart would give out.
Yeah.
And no one ever really specified how long that would take.
It would take probably years, let's be honest. If that, it would probably take a really long. She's a fucking god, for Christ's sake. Also, in the current comics, they've done for Wonder Woman, they've done an arc with Darkseid, in which he fights and beats Darkseid. So there's no point of even having Superman around anymore, because the whole point of Superman was he was one of the only people who really could beat Darkseid. Now Wonder Woman can do it as well.
In Justice League, they really powered her down, didn't they?
Yeah, and
they did anyway.
Also, in the whole arc, Darkseid kills pretty much all the old gods, and then including Zeus, the most powerful of all the old gods. And like I said, Wonder Woman still beats him. I mean, once again, does anyone not notice this massive fucking problem? Like, seriously? Like, what the fuck is the point then of having...
I guess it doesn't really matter because, we shouldn't be scared of strong women or whatever.
As sort of a quick note, I will say, I like Wonder Woman. I do. I still like it. I like the movie. I like a few of her comics and so on. And I did point out to Ron today, because someone put on Facebook, I'll quickly show you what was in it, and then I'll tell you what my response to this was, because I was very infuriated by it, because it was just insanely just wrong. So someone posted that on Facebook today. Not sure if you can see it properly.
Oh.
Yep. Oh.
There's just a...
notification.
Yeah.
All right, it's gone now. Right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've read it, you've seen it, so on. So, the reason I have a big problem with this is, they've listed all these characters. Guess what? They all came out probably, either 80s at the latest. Maybe...
Yeah, I'd say so.
No, 80s at the earliest. Maybe
70s. But maybe 70s that's a very slim chance.
For a few of them. Wonder Woman came out in 1940. Her first comic, her first issue in 1940. Also, one of the characters listed on that was, who's it? Xena. What is Xena called? Amazon Warrior Princess. I wonder where I've heard that term before.
Sounds inspired by something.
I wonder who was the original.
Also, the big thing that it doesn't really take into account is, and I think it's important, none of these women that are actually listed on there are superheroes.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important point, because the discussion is not necessarily strong female characters.
Yeah.
The discussion is superheroes.
Yeah.
Also, why the fuck would you put Jyn Erso on there when you could just easily put Princess Leia on there and they made slightly more of a point?
Yeah, because
are we just going to ignore Princess Leia from now on?
You've listed all these really cool badass characters. Women don't have to be badass to be good characters. Leia's not a badass, but she's still amazing.
When you really think about all the things she did in the original trilogy, she's kind of a badass.
She's badass in the sense that she's not a badass fighter. She's badass in the way she acts.
True.
In the way she treats people.
True.
Get walking carpet out of my way. Someone who literally states, rips the arms out of people's sockets when he loses a game of chess, and she insults him so blatantly without giving a shit. That is amazing.
And also, when they had to escape through the Death Star garbage chute, who went in first?
Yeah, who dove in first?
I'm pretty sure
that was Princess Leia.
I don't remember the exact line that she said, but if she did say anything at that point, she would probably have said, "Come on, you pussies, let's go."
Yeah. It was at least someone's got to do something to get us out of here or something like that.
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Stand around like a bunch of girls?
Yeah. That's just the thing, Well-written female characters, first and foremost, don't have to be physical badasses. They just have to...
Because male characters don't have to be that either.
Yeah. And I was also pointing out, the whole point I was making with Wonder Woman is, I've noticed, it's not me saying that there are imperfect or flawed female superheroes, but it feels like there's a lot more perfect female superheroes than there are male superheroes.
Pretty much.
On a character level of how few flaws they have. It feels like there are more of them. Not saying that they're overwhelming, but it feels like consistently there's more of them. To the point where I actually was sitting sort of down last night in bed just watching something and just thinking, that's true. That's what happened. What? Why has no one else pointed out this fucking problem before? Oh, men are just so much into superheroes. Yeah, at least they're fucking flawed. I mean,
most of them are anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Barry is obsessed with finding out who killed his mother. When he does, he nearly crosses the line. Yeah. Hal is an arrogant person who sleeps with. He's a misogynist. Batman, once again, can't get over childhood trauma. I mean, I know it's fucking traumatic, but for God's sake, get therapy. Everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Most people would get therapy. He jumps to fighting crime at night just immediately. Superman's the last of his kind. Oh, he has his cousin. Yeah, no, he's not that much of a Kansas person. Sorry, just saying. He's not that much of a hillbilly. And you can go, and Iron Man, once again, an egomaniac. Thor is an egotistical god who does turn into a slightly better person.
He humbles himself. Spider-Man is like the most relatable comic book character ever written anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
Doctor Strange is just an arrogant surgeon who makes a mistake, who gets into an accident at some point through mostly fault of his own, actually. And then has to learn that he has to give for others before he can be as selfish as he is. The fucking Fantastic Four is to an extent a kind of dysfunctional family at times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's the thing. Wonder Woman is raised to be a good person, but with the intent of men are bad. She gets there. She immediately disproves her own theory or what she's been taught, and then she just gets over it all. And the worst part is she doesn't even. The one flaw I say she has, she doesn't go back to the island to tell her mother, "You need to grow the fuck up."
Yeah,
that's her one flaw. Which is, let's be honest, it's not a big one. It's not a world-changing flaw. It's not a flaw that makes the character any more compelling, because you forget about that one thing pretty quickly.
No, exactly.
Once again, not saying that I don't like Wonder Woman. I still like her a lot.
The thing is, I do like Wonder Woman, but the thing is, when you compare her to Superman, she actually is less of a good character.
She's less interesting.
Because of the lack of flaws.
Yeah. And actually, on that note, I like her, but only as an ensemble character. I only like her when she's really in the Justice League, when she can really have confrontation with other people.
I did like her in her own film, but that was because her major flaw was because she didn't fully believe in herself necessarily, because she didn't know exactly
what she was.
But what I liked about that is because towards the end, like, she finally understood and she was there. But by the end, she figured out that she's this powerful goddess.
Yeah.
And then the whole question of that kind of went away, and then it's like, so what's next? How are you going to fail?
The older versions of Wonder Woman were more interesting, because back then she was actually sexist. She didn't like men.
See, that's slightly more interesting.
Exactly. I like that idea of Wonder Woman.
Not necessarily a flaw, but it
makes her character more
interesting.
Compelling, at the very least, where she actually has that judgment, which kind of gets you going, really? And then the occasional point where she's proven wrong. I think also she needs to have, I'm not sure what her flaws would be, but she needs obviously to have more of them. A few more flaws.
Yeah.
Whatever they may be.
Maybe magic, No,
I'm not talking about physical weaknesses. I'm talking about flaws as a character.
Oh, yeah.
Because the physical weaknesses, I'm sorry, if you judge a superhero by their physical, Superman's not interesting because he's immune to everything. Sorry.
What about the fact that she's a woman?
So many triggered people.
Well, you could say that's a social flaw, because that means that she has to deal with the lack of privileges, even though she's white, even though she's from a Mediterranean country, technically.
Yeah, technically.
So,
and the fact that she speaks perfect English as well bothers me.
It's true.
And they somehow come up with some bullshit excuses to how that's possible. Like, we know every language here on the Hemisphere. The fuck you do? You haven't gone anywhere else.
They had millennia to actually learn these languages. So
where did they get the books to learn them from, Ron? Where does the reading material come from?
It's a great question. Because
I think
from sailors.
What would be that they will bring back to the island, rape and then kill?
Pretty much,
children. Yeah. Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah, I do. 252. Great time.
What I would like for her flaws, perhaps the Amazons are like that, and they do that, and she doesn't know. So it's the naivety and a great character flaw is that she believes her own people, there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
That they are themselves perfect. And the constant realization, actually, you know what? No, they're not. Because her mother has kept stuff from her before, but nothing of that magnitude, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would be those kinds of realizations where actually maybe my people aren't as perfect as they would say. Because I think ultimately any way to deal with any argument with Wonder Woman, if they're ever brought up, let's say in just a situation where the League is sitting around just going, oh, the world of men, this is why the Amazons kept their armor. Oh yeah, so when the 6 million Jews died, you did fuck all to stop that.
Maybe Amazonians just really hate Jewish people.
Yeah, they're just leaving you to die, man. They didn't come to help.
Yeah, for which to say, thanks?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Fuck you. But I think that's the thing that we've just, as you know, all of Hollywood and everything is struck, is that men are still well-written characters typically because, well, people don't like men at this point in time. So they're written with a lot of flaws and a lot of negative things about them, which ultimately why a lot of people jump to, I like the male characters a lot fucking more in films.
To be fair, male characters are being written as worse and worse. Their flaws overshadow their being able to overcome these flaws often enough. In some of the
it's because
like
I think
Ocean's 8 still pisses me off.
Yeah, I think there are two distinguishing problems now with male characters. It's either they're written with flaws and they never overcome them to put men down, or they're written as perfect sympathizers, going, yes, I sympathize with the female cause 100%. Going, really? So you're either an asshole or not an asshole. I'm sorry, but fuck off. What?
Yeah.
And then obviously just all female characters are being written as this badass person who happens to solve everything. In some capacity, who always happens in some capacity to be right. I'm sorry, but the one line that gets me every time, we won't fight hate with more hate, we'll fight it with love. Darth Vader, I love all the rebels in that one scene in Rogue One. Darth Vader, we love you. Oh,
what was that from?
That was from The Last Jedi. Rose says that to Finn after she saves him from.
Oh, that's trash.
Yeah.
Well, that is absolutely trash. I mean, yeah, to an extent, the core thing of the Jedi is that they fought with compassion. Love is a bit of a strong word, but compassion for sure. It's clearly not working out though.
Yeah.
Because the Jedi are kind of dead.
Yeah. Just saying, because I think that would be a great. That would be a great comedic skit where it's just her saying that line, and then all the rebels going, "That's a great idea." Vader, we love you. Goes, oh gosh, give me a hug, and then afterwards he just gives them a hug. It's like, "Ha, fooled you!" He just kills them. Fucking love, and he just carries on.
Oh, what was that again? It's a
just what a
fucking stereotype. Where like at the end, it's like,
oh yeah, Superman's the goody goody too.
All the person ever wanted was a hug.
What was that from?
I don't know, but like there's a bunch of things. There was something recent that was like that, where it's like.
Do you remember that really trashy Superman film, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace? Where that little girl's like, why does Superman not get rid of all the nukes? He gets rid of all the nukes and creates Nuclear Man. Perfect thing of like, no, love doesn't solve all problems.
I barely remember. Is that the one where he got drunk?
No, I think maybe.
No,
that was the third one, which was still equally crap.
Oh my god, that's
where he somehow split into two people and he killed himself by cutting off, using his heat vision to cut off like a little metal thing that collapses and crushes the other one. It's like, he's Superman, that wouldn't do shit.
Let's not even discuss the fact that Superman probably has to consume a shitload of alcohol to actually get drunk.
No, it just doesn't work on him. The Flash, he has to consume a shit ton. Superman is immune to that crap. He cannot be drunk. There's so much wrong with the last two movies of that series.
Man, oh man.
Oh, fantastic. At least he was still a flawed character.
It's true, he was very flawed, but not in the way that we were talking about just now.
No.
Not in the slightest.
He was flawed, but in a really badly written film.
Yeah. Oh man.
What a time to be alive,
for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I don't complain being alive at this time because I'd rather be alive at this time than during the 40s.
Yeah.
During World War II.
Or in the future. Because let's be honest, now is the best time to be alive because we see all kinds of horrible things that have happened that would have impacted our lives if we were there. And currently we're experiencing things as they're happening. Because bullshit on top of bullshit.
Yeah, it's on both.
It's so much fun.
It's so much extremism from the left and right. There's Like that's the fucking problem now these days. You know, there's no good middle ground where the two can go. You know what? Let's just be friends. No, it's like no, we fucking hate the right wing. No, hate the left wing. They're both fucking wrong. You're fucking wrong. You know, you're fucking. And it's like this is too much of that. This is why I want a one-party policy in the state to get rid of any fucking disagreements between the sides.
I think it should be a three-party policy.
Fuck it, yeah, let's go with that.
Where the one is left, one is right, and one is just kind of
one is just right.
One is just indifferent.
I feel. Have you ever seen any episodes of Futurama?
Yeah.
It's about the neutrality planet. I have no strong feelings about this one way or the other. If you see my wife, tell her I said hello.
That's amazing. Yeah,
it's a brilliant episode. If you watch Futurama, if you've never seen that episode, you have to. It's a must watch.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ones.
To be honest, I have a lot of neutrality inside jokes with some of my friends as well. Because I had a friend who used to love the color red for some reason, and we would make fun of it because another thing that's predominantly red is the flag of Switzerland. But he was also kind of indifferent about a lot of things. So there were a lot of neutrality jokes that kind of went, like there's this game called Diplomacy, which is this board game.
Yeah, I know.
You know, okay. We often joke that he should play as Switzerland, even though it's not a playable country, but he should.
I've sent you
the response was that he would always conquer Switzerland.
Did you ever? I showed you that video of the Risk game where it was just the countries playing. I love the bit where it's like Switzerland. I thought we were playing Monopoly. It's just such a brilliant scene. There's some good stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I think because I think I've mentioned to you and a few other people that when I eventually do have kids, if I ever had a son, I would think about mercy killing him because I think it's such a shit. If a daughter, I'd be like, no, you'll be the rule of the fucking planet at this rate. Yeah. Sons are gonna have a shit time in the future. God damn it.
Pretty much. I think if I do ever have a son, I would just literally like every time he has a date, I would like expect the girl like on to go like, "What are your intentions for the end of the night?" And she goes like, "No, it's just." I'm like, "You will not have sex. Do you understand?"
Yeah.
I forbid it. And then when she leaves the door, I would just go like, "Son, I need to give you something. Here's a can of pepper spray. Be sure to protect yourself." Attached to it is a little rape whistle. Because at some point we'll get to the point. That's fucking
quality, bitch.
We know that at some point we'll get to the point where that will be a reality. I don't want to make this a political podcast in any way, but we are getting to the point where, like, there's this horrible double standard when it comes to rape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So often with men, it's like. Often there's still the question of like, why didn't you just do anything? Because men in general are superior in muscular power, but still there's like a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to do. For instance, we could still be weaker, just because on average we're stronger doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't exercise.
You're physically stronger. Yeah, that does a lot when you're roofied.
That also, it could be against our will, there could be blackmail, there could be...
Exactly, there's all forms of rape. There's not just one where you're taken physically and forced down.
Apparently, rape is also when you have sex with someone and you kind of regret it, so you kind of want to take it back.
Yeah.
Apparently. If it works for women that way, it should work for men like that way. For women, it's slightly different, obviously. You can literally just say, "He looked at me funny," and that's apparently considered rape.
Yeah, that's the problem now.
I'm not saying that it is actually like that. I don't say I would appreciate it being that, but I'm saying there's a lot of people out there who believe that it's like that.
Yeah, to any of our watchers wondering, once again, as we've made perfectly clear, we do not disagree with female equal rights in a conservative way. Some people may be thinking that right now.
It's important that they have them.
A problem with forms of extremism, and feminism has been. Here's a very this is the. The Nazi Party was a socialist party when it started. It then became a right-wing dictatorship. That was because an extremist took charge of it and warped it into something it wasn't supposed to be. And you want to know something, feminists? None of the Nazi socialists said anything about it. And if you let these other extremist feminists continuously poison what the meaning behind it is, they're going to get a lot less support. And more importantly, Like I said, I support female equal rights, but I refuse to call myself a feminist in any way.
Actually,
Refuse to do it.
a common misconception is that Hitler was right-wing. He was actually incredibly left-wing. Like, you could say he was extremely left-wing.
Yeah.
But a lot of policies that the Nazis actually had were quite left-wing as well, because they
were.
were about equality mostly as well.
Yeah.
And not necessarily gender equality, because you couldn't give a shit about that, but mostly like when it comes to like working towards each other, he just felt like some people were more equal to each other than others.
Yeah. Which is not communism or socialism in any way. Once again.
No. It's like the evil halfway through.
Yeah. You're equal to me, but I only choose who's equal to me.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, when you think about it, like a lot of great evil that was perpetuated in the past was mostly left wing.
Because actually, that's the really funny thing. A lot of millennials say being left wing is better. Well, sorry, but Stalin was, Hitler was, the Nazi Party was socialist.
Lenin was
significantly less evil than Stalin.
True, but he was still a German spy, and we can't really take that away from him.
Yeah, sure. And obviously a lot
of American presidents were. I will say, because you're either a Republican or a Democrat. Democrat is mostly left-leaning. Republicans mostly right-leaning. And I will admit, mostly right-leaning American presidents have perpetuated quite great evil.
Yeah. Oh, so as a quick note, Abraham Lincoln was Republican. He was not a Democrat. The Democrats are the ones that propelled slavery. They were the ones that wanted it at the time. Just pointing that out to bring anyone down a peg. It's not me saying that being a Democrat for you now in the modern day is bad. It's just me saying both sides committed atrocities, both sides are evil.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's, we have to...
Because I was telling at the start the other day, I said, you do realize Abraham Lincoln was Republican, right? Actually, no, it was someone. I pointed out, I was like...
I think she would have known.
Yeah, actually, no, Sarah probably wouldn't know. I think it was someone else, though, who actually pointed out Churchill was a bad person. It's like, yeah, but he was necessary evil during the war. That I can accept,
True.
He was evil in the sense that he set off thousands of boys during the First World War to die.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was the First World War, and the Second World War, that was significantly different.
Yeah, he was... Well, he may not...
Because it wasn't really in charge.
Because here's the thing as well, people have fond memories of JFK. He was a womanizer, a severe womanizer. Yet, he was a Democrat, so people let it go.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, severe womanizer. People let it go. Donald Trump, to be fair, he's worse than both of them because he said grab him by the pussy. Actually, I don't think he's... No, he is a womanizer, yeah. But
yeah,
not to their extent because he's not actually, he looks like a fucking cabbage that turned orange.
It's like a carrot cabbage.
Carrot cabbage. But yeah, I think...
Genetic splicing gone wrong. Genetic splicing, by the way, is a right-wing thing, I think. Which is odd, because I'm kind of all for it. Like genetic modification. Because let's be honest, with genetic modification, we can actually make a lot of things better.
Because actually, as a funny note that I love about this, so there was, I'm not sure if you saw this, but recently there was an article I saw on Facebook about a bunch of vegans who stormed into a steakhouse and were protesting. What I love was, okay, all the clothes you're wearing, made by sweatshop workers in Thailand or somewhere in Southeast Asia for minimum wage or no wage at all. Oh, you're also holding paper up, which contributes to deforestation, which contributes to mass extinction of animals. But the cows, yeah, you're right. They're the ones at greater risk. It's steakhouses. God forbid cows have a shit life. Which, to be fair, they fucking do. But really, that's the problem you have at the moment? That's what's worse?
So the beautiful thing about that is, if you support animal rights, but also support deforestation, you're basically...
You're a hypocrite.
Also, you're dooming the planet. Because the way that we breathe is the way that all mammals breathe, right? So, if we take away the trees, but leave the animals that are there, we're basically using...
You're
much
dooming
more
them
oxygen.
to a worse life
than
they currently already have.
So,
because I think that's the thing.
also, plants have feelings too. I know that vegans keep saying like that's not a good enough reason, but I do think that's a good enough reason.
It is. Plants are living creatures as well. Photosynthesis is a thing, whether or not vegans like to admit it or not. And that's the thing as well, as I point out, their hair products, they may not be tested on animals, but yes, they're vegan. They're made from vegetables and stuff. Yes, once again, contributing to deforestation, contributing to mass wiping out of all animal habitats, which is why they're all now in either wildlife sanctuaries or zoos, because I've literally got no fucking place to be because of you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm no better than this look, probably made by sweatshop workers in Thailand and all that, but here's the difference between you and me. Self-awareness.
Yes.
I'm aware that I'm contributing to this shit. There's not much I can fucking do about it. It's not like I'm going to walk around naked.
Actually, on that subject, there is a couple of things I do agree with. I actually spoke to a couple of vegans and they made some valid points, which is, yes, like, a lot of people will eat meat and there's nothing to do about it. Meat's great. Meat is nutritious as well. And ultimately, like, there's a couple of things that you would have to give up quite a lot to be vegan. That
vegan is a real commitment.
It is a very big commitment, and I do respect people for actually doing that.
It is impressive. Yeah.
One of the things that they say that does make sense is the more meat we eat, the bigger the amount of meat transport is. So per transport of meat, like the huge amounts that there is, takes a lot of our infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if we all were to go one day of the week without eating meat, we would significantly reduce that. That's something that I do agree with.
Yeah.
Because that's actually impacting the environment. Exactly. That's 100% fair enough. To completely stop with it, that's a step
too far. Yeah.
Because it's just something that, especially with my current diet,
so as a quick
things
note,
I don't eat.
To be quite blunt, it's nature. We are Earth's dominant species. If we as omnivores choose to eat meat, we have every right to, as Earth's dominant species and carnivores and the top of the food chain. But just also quite bluntly, you see what he was talking about, that one vegan? You see protesters, preachers, that's called a constructive argument. Exactly. That's how you articulate your point without making yourself seem like an arrogant asshole.
Yeah.
I have nothing against people who are vegan. Once again, I have a lot of respect because I could never fucking do it.
No, exactly. Especially that one, because she admitted as well that she used to eat meat. But she stopped because she decided to be more conscious about it, and she misses it every day, and she keeps thinking about how good it used to be. It's like a forbidden fruit at this point.
Yeah.
And I can do nothing but respect her on the fact that she is being so restraining of herself.
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is
in fact, once we're done here, I'm probably gonna go get a burger or something.
Yeah, probably the same. Yeah, to be quite honest, I'll probably get chicken or a burger or something.
I'm really leaning burger for some reason.
I'm fucking feeling like it now. God damn it. Or pizza.
Oh man.
Anyway, I think that's the thing. Ultimately, is it's just the perpetual cycle of any form of extremist ruining any side of proper arguments. Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
There are good people who are Republicans and right wing. There are good people who are Democrats and left wing. Problem is when the extremist talks, extremists are often the loudest, most obnoxious,
exactly,
and the ones who get the most attention, and we're just not heard. And that's the problem. And look, I'm never gonna. I'll say this. I'm sure right damn better than those fucking extremist idiots.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm better than some other vegan left-wing person who doesn't like me. If they're not an extremist, they probably are better than me for all I fucking know. They may be smarter or whatever, but,
Because I think we had this discussion once with Sarah as well. You'd say you're pretty central.
I'm pretty central.
Right. Sarah's pretty left, pretty far left. I'm pretty far right.
Yeah.
And what I do like about that is that we still get along and we still enjoy the same jokes, we laugh at the same jokes, we enjoy the same things. Honestly,
what is even was also if everybody loved everybody, it'll be a better place.
Very important. But what I liked about it as well is I think we only had one political discussion ever.
Yeah.
And it was a very good one. You could tell that both parties respect each other.
There was
at the end of the argument as well, it was I really do not agree with you, but I respect the fact that you feel that way. and I see why you do feel that way.
Yeah.
And you are entitled to do so.
Yeah, I think because as a quick note, if anyone who's watching this is left wing and it feels like I'm picking on you for being the protesters, the reason I
feel that way.
I don't do it with right wing extremists is because they generally don't give a fuck, and I would call them out on it, and they would not care.
All they do
would,
is memes.
and it would probably mean you would try and change, and that's why I'm actually telling you, because if I could encourage you that hey, you're no better than them, maybe you, and that's the point, is saying when you try and push your beliefs and views of someone like, oh, you shouldn't eat meat, oh, you should do this, oh, you should support feminism without question. When you do all these things, you become a dictator. You become someone who doesn't allow freedom of speech, like right-wing lunatics. And
you become Hitler.
Yeah, you do. For all intents and purposes, you become no better than him. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And hopefully,
although we do hope that you leave the racial thing out of it, because that was a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, even for a dictator, like don't do the racial discrimination thing.
No, which they don't. They actually do the. They do.
They do the reverse. Yeah.
They do it to only white men. Other men are okay, which is weird because Asian men are actually no better than white men. To be quite blunt and honest, they're actually worse than us.
If you're talking about the alleged wage gap, then yes, they are worse.
Yeah, they are. That's the problem. In places like Japan, China, and South Korea, it is a lot worse. A lot, and that's the point I try to make with people, that we living in Western countries like France, the UK, the United States, Canada, Australia, wherever, are fucking blessed. We don't have to. Yes, you may argue there's a wage gap, you may not, but if there is, it is significantly minute compared to these other places. There's also no sweatshops. We may sell to them, we may take from them, but once again, you've never seen you really argue. This thing I also noticed, a lot of left-wing people do not argue for human rights of those kinds of people who have it worse. They argue for human rights of people who already live in Western countries, which, no offense, once again, you have a lot better. Because one thing, you're stating your opinion. Guess what? People are listening. This is what happens in Russia. I disagree with
basically.
President Putin is a wonderful man, and no one will ever argue with him because he is great. Hail Putin.
God, that's Russia.
Yeah. See, that's pretty much it. If anyone disagrees with someone in those countries,
yeah, and it's the kind of thing as well where like you said, it's like they're fighting for female rights here, they're fighting for Muslim rights here. What about all of those rights in the Middle East, where in some countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia, where they just don't have these rights? You know, it's only been recent that women are allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, but they are still not able to wear whatever the fuck they want on their head. Their head, it's their own head.
Also, here's a video I saw on YouTube, and it kind of proves a point, but at the same time, it's a weird one. A man walked in full dress and burqa in the bank. Obviously, he's a burqa, so you can't tell if it's a man. No one said anything. A woman walks in wearing a motorcycle helmet, and she's told to remove it for obvious reasons. It's banned, you're not allowed to wear that kind of stuff. Well, I understand what the video was trying to prove a point. It's like there's a difference between religious connotation, and more importantly, if that woman chooses to wear a burqa, if they actually physically state, I like the style, fucking fine.
Or they say, this is how I show God my devotion.
That's
their
right to do it.
You can do that, but I feel like you shouldn't do that because your state or even your husband tells you to do so.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Those are rights I'm not really willing to fight for, because I'm not really a fighter.
Yeah, I'm more of a lover, you see.
Exactly. For me. It's more like I don't want to necessarily fight for particular rights, because I feel like it should really be coming from us, right? I'm not going to fight for your rights because your rights do not concern me. It's very bluntly said, but ultimately, what happens if I fight for someone else's rights is I might accidentally do that in a matter that they don't even really want me to. Like the whole PewDiePie thing, right? The first thing with the death to all Jews. I didn't need people to say that that's anti-Semitic, because as a Jew, I didn't think it was. I didn't need people to fight for my right to not be offended. Of course, I'd like the right to not be offended, but that's a very hard to come by right.
That's an impossible demand to meet.
It's
Once
an
again,
impossible
it
demand because of
freedom of speech.
Because offense
you
is a
have to allow.
subjective thing.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
No one can dictate what I will or will not be offended by.
Yeah.
No one can dictate what you will
Because
be offended or not offended by.
It's one of those things where, in a similar sort of not similar, but more on the opposite end of the reason why I don't fight for it. Because I've never experienced that sort of thing where people have had to say, "Oh, I'll fight for your rights," because once again,
because nobody fucking cares about.
I'm a white straight male agnostic person who basically just doesn't give a shit. So no one's ever going to fight for my rights. To be fair, I already have my rights.
Yeah.
But my point is that being half Australian, I don't view myself as an Australian. I view myself as an immigrant. I am an immigrant. Australia is founded by immigrants.
Sure.
America, did you hear that? Did you hear that over there?
Ding, ding, ding.
Back on point. Australia Day, which is meant to be the day we've colonized Australia, a lot of people are calling it Invasion Day.
Yeah.
Because that's the day we invaded and wiped out the Aboriginals. And honestly, I agree with it. That's what it is. And a lot of people want the day and name, the date and the name to change to Australian Independence Day when we got independence from the British Empire, which I think is a better move, and I agree with that. But what really fucking irks me is people in Australia have voiced that opinion and made it perfectly clear that they're not happy with it. In America, Thanksgiving, what is that about again? The total annihilation of Native Americans, pretty much, and people give thanks to it every year. Like, it's not the complete and total annihilation.
I kind of do want to, because it sounds like there should be more to it.
Like, it was the day the Pilgrims invited the Native Americans to have dinner or whatever, lunch with them. And then a lot of Native Americans were betrayed and wiped out of those events. Not all, possibly, but quite a few. And the fact that it's still celebrated is quite...
Yeah, I just don't see the point of celebrating it, really.
Yeah, I think Thanksgiving is... Honestly, also, it's definitely a money-grabbing scheme.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't like holidays anyway. I don't even like Christmas, I'll be honest. Because ultimately, it's like, if this is just an excuse for you to be with family, you can do that all year long. You don't have to have a specific date to do so.
I think the only reason I like it is it helps line up times for when it's possible. Because it's hard, for example, for me, my brother lived all the way in Australia.
Yeah.
So seeing him is already fucking hard enough. And if I'm left to my own devices, I will never see him again. Which is why Christmas is good, because we either go there or he comes here. So that's the only reason, because Australia and the UK, the dates line up and he can actually come visit us.
Fair enough.
But that's the only reason why I really enjoy Christmas, is I actually get to have my mother, my father, and my brother all in the same place.
Yeah.
Which is already hard enough with considering how. But other than that, Christmas is about the rebirth, the birth of Christ. Yes,
something like that. But it doesn't even align with its birth. But it doesn't even align with his birth, because apparently it was sometime June.
Yeah, I frankly,
it's the birth of my dad, like 58 years ago. But I don't think that's particularly significant.
Yeah. To me
it is, but like,
and even then, you hear New Year's, it's like, China, you celebrating New Year's? No, not yet.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about Jews? No, we had it like in September.
Yeah, exactly.
Muslims? Whenever.
Yeah.
Persians? Yeah, March. Who celebrates New Year's at New Year's? White people. Well, we'll do it for someone.
Also, to be fair, with New Year's for white people, it's a weird connotation that it's still religious in the sense, but it's become less religious because it's more about the seasons.
Technically, yeah.
It's more about, winter is ended and now we go through the cycle again. That to me makes more sense.
Kind of. It's more like winter has started, really, but...
Yeah, well, winter is now, we're midway through winter, essentially, because November sort of, end of November.
December, doesn't it?
It does in December, but November is sort of like the tail end of autumn and just breaching into winter.
Right.
It's like that weird point where...
So we're celebrating the end of autumn and the start of winter.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like a whole thing. And then you have...
Brace yourselves, man. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Where is he? There he is. Jon Snow.
Does he actually have a Scottish accent on the show?
No.
Okay.
He's got a northern accent.
Northern accent.
From Yorkshire, pretty much. Or something like that. But yeah, anyway, I think probably going to be it from us.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Podcast
We've been going on for ages. And to be fair, this is an interesting live session when you think about the fact that
it's 2.5
no one really watched. But few last things that we want to mention real quick, and that would be it, is literally just the one thing. Gaming. There was the one thing because we talk about politics, we could talk about video games as well.
Yeah.
You probably know this better than I do, but there was this thing about Game of the Year.
Game of the Year at the moment, the nominees have been one game I can't remember the name of, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which it's fun, but it shouldn't really be nominated. Red Dead Redemption 2, which I feel like is going to win just because it's Red Dead Redemption 2, but it shouldn't. God of War, Spider-Man, and one of those two should be the real winners. And another game I can't remember the name of, I think. And there is a real fright at the moment because perhaps the most popular game out there is a game called Fortnite, if you don't know. And there was a real fright because it seemed like Fortnite was not only going to be nominated, but it could win. And it just should not, because Game of the Year is about a game that comes out that year that is that good. Fortnite's been around for probably 2-3 years now, so it definitely shouldn't win. Definitely didn't come out this year. And like I said, it was a real fright because I think that's the thing. Games are such a big thing, and Fortnite, while I played it and it's fun, it's not Game of the Year material. You played a bit of it, right?
A little bit.
Does it feel like it for you?
Honestly, I couldn't get into it because it felt too. I feel like I've played it before.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't feel too different for me when you compare it to like Team Fortress.
Yeah, that's the thing. Fortnite also didn't invent the sort of battle royale mode, so it didn't do that originally.
No, that was PlayerUnknown.
Oh yeah, it was PlayerUnknown. PlayerUnknown. And base building, once again, it wasn't the first to do that, not even by a long shot. And it didn't do a lot of things originally. Now that's not a fucking problem. We've made clear that there's no such thing as original ideas, and therefore it's fine for people to copy other people. But the reason it would have won is because it's very popular. It's essentially kind of almost taking Call of Duty's place as the game for young teenagers to 12 and 11, 10-year-olds who like gaming and who are actually too young to game. Mentally.
Yeah,
mentally. Physically, they're in the right sort of ages, but mentally, they're not reaching that correct point. And don't get me wrong, I have a really young cousin who plays Fortnite, and I don't think he cares about Game of the Year, so I have no problem with that sort of thing. But he enjoys it. That's good for him. But when you realize the demographic of the game as well, it also proves that it shouldn't have won. It should not win Game of the Year. Thankfully, it's not going to. But it's just one of those things where I just wanted to bring up because it scared me. Because when I heard that, me and a couple of my other friends I play a lot of games with just immediately went, "Oh my fucking god, please!"
It's the end of times.
God, no. Yeah, it was like that moment where it's like, "No, anything but this game, please." No.
It's literally like if the Oscar would have gone to like a film that just doesn't deserve it.
Yeah,
that's really fucking descriptive.
For example, let's say Aquaman is a really good film. It's like Dark Knight level, perhaps.
Right.
And it gets nominated, and then it wins. And everyone's like, wait, what the fuck? No! Just no! No!
Why? Why would you do this?
Yeah.
Why would you do this to us?
Why would you do that to me, Lisa?
You're tearing me apart, Fortnite.
But it was sort of, it basically was like that moment of fright and scare. And thankfully it's passed. Everyone knows it can't win now.
It's going to be Red Dead now.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest.
It is.
What else could really, compete?
Well, which is really unfortunate because the best comment I saw for it that perfectly describes it. My head says Red Dead Redemption 2. My heart says God of War.
Right.
Go with what your heart says. Because honestly, in this situation, for me, if I had to give up one or two games, it would be either God of War or Spider-Man.
Right.
Because they're both brilliant games that tell a spectacular story. Spider-Man perhaps a little more so, interestingly. With great gameplay mechanics.
Mm.
Great voice acting, great characters, everything. And Red Dead Redemption 2, it has those things as well. but nowhere near to the same level.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten the chance to play it, but I did see like some gameplay stuff of it, and I mean, let's not even talk about the fact that in multiplayer you have to play through like an hour until you can actually get to the multiplayer part. And I understand the thing is, Rockstar is a really good company when it comes to like storytelling, but sometimes when you hit the multiplayer, you just want to play multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that same thing kind of pissed me off on GTA 5 because it wasn't as bad. I think it was only half an hour or something.
Yeah.
But it took forever to do the tutorial stuff that essentially, if you've played the campaign, you kind of understand already.
Yeah. And I think also the other thing that bothers me? No, what would be for Red Dead Redemption 2? Oh, right. The simple fact is for me, the game that should win Game of the Year, in fact, the games that should be fucking nominated, are games that should be released to full completion. Now, I know what you're going to say, but doesn't Spider-Man and perhaps God of War have DLCs coming out? That's different. That's content DLC. That's DLC. That's not excluding content that should be at launch.
Yeah.
So, for example, 2 games that are currently guilty of this. Probably the more extreme example, while I still enjoy the game, I would never say should win Game of the Year, is Battlefield 5. It's not been released. There's 3 story campaign modes.
Really?
There's meant to be a 4th one. Comes out in December, which is why, for me, automatically, that's a big no-no. Immediate tick off the box for saying no, should not be nominated. And it's excluding some of the content. For example, you can't customize the vehicles. You can customize the characters, but not the vehicles.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah, cosmetically that is, not in terms of the level up system. But
to be fair, I've seen PC footage of it as well, and like honestly, at times, if you don't have ray tracing enabled by the newest NVIDIA graphics cards, it just looks pretty poopy.
Yeah.
Like literally, like when you stand behind a car, right, and there's a puddle, so it needs to reflect, and you see a reflection of a car in the puddle. If you go further behind the car to the point where you can't actually see the car that is being reflected, the car in the puddle just disappears.
Yeah.
If you turn it on, however, your frame rate goes down by a whole bunch. So there's no point in doing any of this.
Yeah, and I think also
the thing is, your shit,
which is why I'm making my point with Red Dead Redemption 2. It was not a game released at full capacity at release. It did not have the multiplayer. Now, they obviously didn't do that so that way they could prepare it for when people got into it and knew how to play the game, and which is smart. It's a smart move. But it means for me automatically, in terms of nominees, it should be automatically off the board saying, if you promise multiplayer and it's not in at launch, your game does not qualify.
It was the same with GTA 5 though, wasn't it?
It was the same, yeah. But was GTA 5 actually nominated for Game of the Year?
It probably was. The thing is, GTA 5.
It didn't win either.
When it came to releasing GTA 5, it was kind of bizarre anyway. Because first it was only released on current gen consoles.
Yeah.
Then only on next gen consoles, and then later on PC.
Yeah.
Difference with Red Dead is it's been released on all the consoles it's ever going to be released on.
Yeah.
So I do
and not PC.
I have to fucking save up
now. But ultimately,
Gun Pro.
That's kind of my point, is that if it doesn't have all the things it promises in the lead up to the game, including multiplayer, and then it's not there at launch, it loses the right to be. It doesn't mean that it's not a good game. Don't get me wrong. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a great game. But in my opinion, it should therefore not be nominated for Game of the Year. That's just my opinion on it. If it doesn't have what it promises at launch, and even if people know it's not going to be there at launch, it still makes a point where it's like, you promise multiplayer, we know it's not coming at launch, but that is a big chunk of the game, typically. People continue playing games for multiplayer, typically.
Because you're in the main storyline, you have to unlock like all different places, and in multiplayer, you should be able to just freely go everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of more stuff to load in.
Hence why also multiplayer this game was never going to be nominated, but No Man's Sky, or as a lot of people like calling it, One Man's Lie. I love that. It is fucking true. To be fair, I heard that it's gotten a lot better, but let's be honest, after launch, the sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah. You know what I still love is, even before it was fixed, apparently like Charlie Brooker, creator of Black Mirror, apparently loved the game. The whole first episode of the 4th season, the Star Trek themed one, was apparently based on that. I don't see how, because there were other people there.
Yeah.
He was on this.
You'll never meet anyone else in the world with a slim chance. First hour of the game, 2 people stand in the exact same spot on the planet. On the same planet. Fucking brilliant. That's just genius.
Painful as well.
Anyway, is that going to be it?
That's going to be it. Before we go, we would like to thank you for watching. If you did watch through the whole thing, which no one did live. So we did. We are true fans.
We are
and we would like to tell you that we are definitely back. We will start to try and pick this up weekly again. So the schedule is going to be mostly shooting on Saturdays and then releasing on Mondays, so we can be as current as we can be. And things that you can expect in the future is we're going to talk about fandoms and fans, which does include the whole rants that we had about Doctor Who and Star Wars and stuff like that. We're going to be talking about the TV shows or the streaming shows that Disney and DC have and prepared and stuff. And one of the things...
Should read the comments.
One last thing. One of the things that we have prepared as well is that one of these episodes, we are actually going to watch and criticize Star Wars fan films. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Put our money where our mouth is, and it's not a lot of money, so we better have a good.
Also, we've been talking about it, and we're probably actually going to do the thing where on occasion we'll sit down and take a movie and just say how we would make it. Not make it better. That's the one distinction we're trying to make with fans.
Our version.
I will never say that. Yeah, make our version of it. So first one will probably be episode 8. But I just like the idea of continuing with what if we swap cast? So we can do DC, Marvel, Star Trek, Star Wars, and just all those sorts of things, and just say not cast swaps, but integrate them. That's actually
exactly
not direct swaps, but integrate them.
And of course, your classic highlights on particular superheroes. Still see the comment; it's not getting out of my head. We still highlight particular superheroes that we think deserve more praise and explanation on how great they actually are. Just versus episodes and anything that you really,
watch this on playback and tell us what you think. You could have told us today, but
you chickened out,
or you had work,
which
we understand.
And sympathize with work on a Saturday. Tough.
Yeah, I know Sarah does. Fuck me.
That's
shit.
It is. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
And goodbye. I have to walk over there.
Should we tell that part through more, perhaps?
Maybe.
I'm glad that's in there.